What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another, well, not really another edition because, God, how long since it's all of us here together? Since what, April? Since we've all been here to do a show together. Yeah, but
Yeah.
this is the PrimeTime podcast, and tonight we are doing a year-end review of the year 2024. But more importantly, Mark, how are you doing on this very last day of what's been a crazy year? But how's your year been?
It's been a blur, honestly. It feels like this year, like every other year, kind of just comes and goes. Like time just keeps rolling and rolling, bro. And I'm not getting any younger. No one's getting any younger. But hey, we living, we breathing. Almost time for a new year. So feeling blessed, feeling great to be here, man. How's your 2024 been so far? Well, now it's coming to a close. How has it been overall?
Well, it's been it's been up and down. It's been up and down. Very high ups, very low lows. Um, from professionally, you know, damn near personally. Mark probably know what I'm getting at with that. But
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
but yeah, it was definitely been a year where uh, it's been very up and down. Personally, some things happened to me that I had to bounce back from. But but at the end of the year, I could say that I learned a lot, grew a lot, and become a better person. As the year, and that's kind of like the point of the new year. You're just you make your mistakes, you learn from it, you grow, evolve, and then when the new year comes, you can expand beyond that. And of course, professionally, I if you follow my wrestling career, I've dropped the prime time thing, and I'm now disfigured, James Thomas now, which has been an absolute blast. The most fun I've had being doing this gimmick that I ever did with prime time. But but yes, this has been a very, very interesting year. And people in the chat, tell us how your year has been. And hey, what's up, Motion Zombie? What's up, Dominic? What's up, J Mac? Salute to you guys for been rocking and rolling with us. Mark, you do realize next year will be 10 years since we've known each other?
It's a long time, bro. It's a long
Really,
time.
really like around, I think our first show together was in August of 2015. In fact, if you go to my other channel that I had, I forgot what it was called, but I had a second channel, and that's where Mark made his first appearance on the commentary, and we've known each other ever since. And it's been a hell of a ride, hasn't it been, Mark?
Hey, bro, 10 years of just doing this and obviously getting to know everybody a part of the channel and then also the panel, right? Yeah, it's been something for sure. I don't regret a single bit of it. Obviously, we've had moments and stuff, but there are moments you live and you learn. And like you said before, bro, this is the one thing I wish everyone would take away before we start getting into the wrestling stuff is that remember, you ain't never too old to learn new stuff, bro. Every day you can learn something new, no matter how wise you think you are, whatever the case may be. You're never too old to stop learning.
100%. What's up? What's up, Arlo? Was oh
You
What's
said
up?
Arlo. What are you talking about?
no, Arlo is here. Yeah, we was just talking about somebody said crash out, Mark. Good to see you. Oh
Well,
man,
all right, it's good to see you too, whoever it is. I'm not looking at the comment section right now.
but yeah, we was just talking about that. We was just talking about that. It's next year will be officially be 10 years since all of us started doing these shows.
Yeah, yeah, that's crazy, bro. We're like kids, and now we're like men, boys to men. It's crazy.
Yeah.
We're becoming. I saw an Instagram post that scared the hell out of me. Is that we're starting to become the uncles. We're starting to become the unks now.
I'm okay with that, bro.
Yeah. If you're not the unk, then you're not here.
Exactly. Like,
so
don't be afraid to be old, bro.
Got a couple more years.
Hey, bro, we still got. Hey, bro, like Mark Henry said, bro. You know, we got plenty left in the tank. You know, don't worry about it.
Yeah, I got my same suit in the closet.
Yeah, I ain't retired yet.
We are definitely. It's a blessing to get old. Like I remember a couple years ago, I was kind of nervous about it, but now, like you said, Arlo, like I look at it as, look, there are people that are no longer here. They're no longer here that to make it to this age I'm at now. So I look at it as a blessing. But
hey, chat, real quick.
For sure.
Let me actually pull up the chat because I can't see. Can anyone see Arlo? Because I can't see him.
You can't see me.
Yeah, I can't see you, bro. I really can't see you.
Wait, hang on. Let me try to see if I can add him.
Somebody play the horns.
Yeah, I'm telling you. I just had to make sure I wasn't the only one who couldn't see him. Like, I thought I was going blind. Like, I'm really unk now. Like, vision getting blurry.
No, I'm gonna.
Not yet, bro.
Yeah, like I kind of
on deck.
Yeah,
I kind of switched some things around with the layout on here, but I'm gonna try to.
How y'all doing,
bro? Just the biggest picture you can find of him, bro. Just put it up on the screen. Just there we go.
There we go. There we go.
My man's really just pulled up like, hey, bro, that's young JR. That's crazy to say young JR when he like 50 right there.
Yeah, I remember watching him during that time. Like, man, he's old as hell. Like, he was only 50.
He was 50, bro. He was 50. Like, as somebody said, oh, it's Harvey. He says it's been 10 years and James still can't work technology. Come on,
I've
gotten. James always been an unk.
Bro, honestly, to be honest, bro, because I ain't been on here, like what? We ain't been on here since the draft of this year. So,
my gosh, don't bring that up.
Oh yeah, I ain't gonna lie. Think about that. I'm gonna leave again. Good night, y'all. It's been a great time. See y'all next year.
See y'all in 2026.
Yeah.
Oh man. But let's go ahead and let's go ahead and get into this, man. We're closing out on the year 2024, which has been a very, very memorable year in this very toxic, crazy ass environment known as professional wrestling, and a lot of stuff, has happened with this year, starting with, Kevin Dunn, leaving WWE, Tony Khan, calling out Jinder Mahal for getting the championship opportunity. Then you got Ronda Rousey accusing Drew Gulak on Twitter. You had Sting's retirement. Yes, it feels like it was 5 years ago, but it was literally like 10 months ago. You had both rest in peace to both to the Wild Samoans, Alpha and Sika, who passed away. Mercedes Moné, Sasha Banks, and Kazuchika Okada and Will Ospreay all made their debuts in the AEW. Scott D'Amore got fired from TNA. All this happened within a year. A lot of stuff happened. And Karen Mark, can you say that this year, without a doubt, before we break down the year, what was your overall thoughts on the year 2024 in pro wrestling? Can you agree this was one of the more enjoyable years in professional wrestling?
Enjoyable is a strong word to use here. And I'll explain why for me. Mainly because after the whole draft debacle, we all know how that went down, right? Uh, I kind of took a little break from wrestling, like just completely. I wasn't watching anything, and I want to say I started watching again. Was it Money in the Bank? Bro, it was some pay per view. I don't remember, but it was some pay per view. Well, sorry, premium live event that I started watching again, and I've been super casual though, right? So like in terms of rumors and news and stuff, I don't know a single thing. I don't even watch the weekly shows of neither promotion. I just watch the PLEs. So it's been like, can I say enjoyable? Maybe like because as a whole, I haven't seen everything, but just from what I've kept up with and saw, sure, I've enjoyed some stuff. I don't think it's been the strongest year of wrestling just personally, but it's been enjoyable, right? Just to kind of have. I don't want to get long winded here because I started yapping and going crazy, but if you take back just like not keeping up with every single thing and just watching what you want to watch without like the echo chamber of people telling you this is this way or this is that way and trying to figure out what's going on with the latest and stuff, I've enjoyed myself just taking a step back and being casual. I've enjoyed that. So yeah, 2024, not too bad of a year for wrestling.
Well, what about you, Arlo? What is your overall thoughts on wrestling in 2024?
I think they like more. There's ebbs and flows of when you're like a huge fan. You're watching everything. You're watching Dynamite. You're watching Raw. You're watching SmackDown, NXT, TNA, and then there's times where like I really don't even want to watch wrestling. And I went through that this year when like WrestleMania. I was watching Raw, watching SmackDown, and then WrestleMania happened, and it's like, okay, what's next? And you know, I think everybody's waiting for WrestleMania again, and same with me. Like I don't think I've kept up at all with anything since like Survivor Series. And I wasn't watching Raw or SmackDown or anything like that, but I was still keeping up with like the clips. 'Cause that's people don't really talk about that, but they should. It's like I don't know how many people just like watch Raw all the time. It's like I think most people even watch it now. They check out the clips or they check out YouTube because YouTube has pretty much the whole show, like or the moments you want to watch on YouTube. So I think I've changed my viewing habits as a fan, and we're getting right there to the time where I do want to watch like all the stuff. We're getting to Royal Rumble season and WrestleMania season, so I'm actually pretty excited at where we're gonna go, where we're gonna get to.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay, and oh yeah, and then and I forgot to mention, like again, a lot of stuff happened this year. The unfortunate passing of Psycho Sid, rest in peace to Sid, the Ricky Starks drama, John Cena announcing his retirement, Odyssey Jones. Somebody put in the chat, Samantha Irving leaving, the Tessa Blanchard situation. Then you got Bobby Lashley leaving, the Nikki Bella situation.
How many situations we got, bro? You said Ricky Starks, Tessa Blanchard, and who?
Nikki Bella.
Bro, what? Look, I guess we're gonna get all into that later, but yeah, what's going on with these people? Because once again, you got to realize.
I remember that.
Well, with Tessa Blanchard, her coming back to TNA wrestling and considering her history, alleged history, and the toxicity that she brings, left a lot of people in the wrestling community not happy about that. Tony Khan pretty much holding Ricky Starks like hostage, pretty much not giving him no TV time, no air time, nothing, just keeping him in catering. Then Nikki Bella with her domestic abuse situation turns out.
Oh, that's not wrestling. That's something completely different.
Yeah, but it's still like it's part of the wrestling community. And yeah, just a lot of stuff happened this year, and now we're gonna talk about more of the bigger things that happened this year. And this individual had a hell of a year. And I figured, why don't we start the year talking about Mr. Cody Rhodes himself. Cody Rhodes, definitely one of the biggest stories of the year. Now, of course, we all know he started out the year 2024 the biggest babyface WWE's had since John Cena, and it all looked like it was very clear path where they were going to go. There was going to be Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes for WWE Championship at WrestleMania. And Cody Rhodes wins the Royal Rumble, picked Roman Reigns, and it looked like, okay, this is where we're going with this. Then one night on SmackDown, one of the most craziest nights on SmackDown, when super jacked, sometimes corny, and it's being revealed kind of scammy, Dwayne Johnson decides that now is the year for Roman Reigns versus The Rock at WrestleMania 40. And Cody Rhodes had that very weird, awkward promo when he says he wants to take everything away from Roman Reigns. And he will do it, but not at WrestleMania. But he knows the one person that can. Then The Rock came out. And then we had that very awkward handshake that Cody and Rock had. Cody looked like he was about to cry. Then we had that face-off between Rock and Roman, and it looked like, oh, snap, they're going to put Cody to the side and we'll go with Rock and Roman. And as we all remember, that all hell broke loose. Cody Rhodes was the one person that made people turn on The Rock. Turn on The Rock. And began the We Want Cody movement. And thus started, I'll give The Rock credit, he switched up, turned heel, and we got the final boss Rock, and thus beginning arguably probably one of the best feuds, best stories leading up to WrestleMania main event of all time. You had The Rock pretty much outshining everybody, which was a problem. I'll get to that in a second. You had Cody Rhodes pretty much fighting against the odds. You had Seth Rollins, who wants to help put his feelings aside against Cody and help Cody win. Thus, we get probably one of the best main events in WrestleMania history. Night one, Cody Seth versus Rock and Roman. And then WrestleMania Night 2, Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes. And it was one of the best main events in WrestleMania history. We completely did a commentary on it, and we was all hype. We knew what was going to happen, but it was still a great moment. Still a great moment. And thus Cody Rhodes defeated Roman Reigns. And after WrestleMania, you can make the case that Cody's run has been more on the boring side. And I say to that is, it's not necessarily his fault. I just think it was kind of clear and obvious that that WWE Creative never had a plan for Cody after Roman. They just kind of threw him in a feud against AJ Styles, which, by the way, the match he had with AJ was fantastic. Then they just threw him in there to a feud with Solo Sikoa. And Cody is now in a feud with Kevin Owens and potentially Randy Orton. So you could tell compared to the beginning of the year, Cody has kind of lost some. He's still very over. He's still getting one of the biggest pops of the night. But you could tell that the fanfare is not as strong as was at the beginning of the year. But I got to say, the fact that Cody Rhodes was so over that it made The Rock switch gears says something. completely says something. And Mark, how did you feel about Cody Rhodes' year? And how did you feel about Cody Rhodes' title run since WrestleMania?
You know what? I think this is really good that we're having this discussion right now because you're getting two different sides of the story here. Because on one end, you got James, who, and some people in the chat, I would imagine too, who y'all have kept up with everything, like the whole saga since WrestleMania. Y'all been, you know, waving that flag for Cody or waving the flag to get rid of Cody, whatever the case may be. You've been keeping up with it. Then you finna get this other side of the story from myself and Arlo, who we looking at this from like a glass half full, half empty kind of situation where it's more casual. So just want to throw that out there. But I would say, what more is there to say about this Cody Rhodes stuff? Like, I feel like, me personally, I feel like everything that could be said has already been said about Cody Rhodes and this whole thing, whether you like him, you hate him, whatever the case may be. It's all been said leading up to WrestleMania. But if he doesn't feel like he has a direction, and we've definitely talked about this with some of like the watch alongs we've had for the PLEs and stuff, that is just them not being able to find something interesting, right? Like the moment he beat Roman, there should have been an established story right off the bat. Boom, Cody's on to a different thing. Remember, wrestling never ends, right? And if you're a writer, the story should just progress. It shouldn't just be an end. If wrestling never ends, someone has to have a different story arc, a different story beat. And the one thing WWE has done so well this year has been revolving everything around the bloodline, right? Like, I don't know if y'all noticed this, even just from watching the PLEs alone, every single story, every single thing revolves around Roman Reigns and his bloodline, the family tree. Everyone who's fighting someone is because of the fact that Roman Reigns is there. I don't know if anyone has picked up on that, but that has been, you did? Okay, see, that's been I think that's their golden ticket. Like, I know people want the bloodline story to end, but it really can't end, right? Like, it's the same thing with if you're watching Marvel, right? They not gonna beat who's the big bad villain in Marvel? Is it Thanos? Is that the guy?
I think it's Thanos, yeah.
Okay. They don't never beat Thanos, right? They just keep the story arc, the beat going. But everything in that universe revolves around trying to stop Thanos from doing whatever he's trying to do. So from that perspective, they had a great setup for Cody Rhodes. Really amazing setup there. But yeah, it's been kind of lackluster, I would say, just from watching the PLEs. I don't know. I said this when we were like really watching the shows, that Cody should not probably have like this long title run. I think wrestling should be more okay with having title runs in, and y'all finna look at me like I'm crazy, but we should go back to having title runs that last like a day or a month or a couple of weeks or whatever. Like, just because someone beats the big guy doesn't mean that they need to hold it the same amount of time. You need to put it in fans' perspectives, like in their head, that, hey, my man could lose the belt tomorrow, right? Like, that should be a thing. You shouldn't see someone win a belt and your instant thought, because you've been watching wrestling so long, is, hey, bro, that man finna hold the title for like 6-7 months. He can't lose it to WrestleMania because he beat Roman Reigns. Like, that shouldn't be a thing. These are all professional wrestlers who, from a storyline perspective and character perspective, are trying to make you believe that they want the top title in their division. So why can someone just beat someone and then, hey, they better hold that belt for 2 years, or if they don't, they buried? That's crazy to me. That's asinine, just from looking at it from a casual perspective now. But yeah, Cody, to me, it's been kind of hot and cold, but that's just my opinion. I'm gonna tag it into the head of talent relations, Arlo.
Oh, speaking of the head of talent relations, I don't know. I think they're doing a way better job than like we're hearing a lot of stories about AEW, but we'll get into that later. Triple H and like WWE now kind of does a great job of like stretching stuff out. Like before, it would be like, oh, this is gonna happen on Backlash or Fastlane or whatever. That kind of doesn't happen anymore. It's kind of I'm not maybe it's a better word, but it's kind of boring sometimes. The spontaneity of having a random match like actually change titles doesn't really happen anymore unless it's like an inconsequential one like the tag team belts or the women's tag team belts, which are never on pay-per-view anyways. So like they're like people, oh, they're doing a great job as champion. I'm like, I've never seen them because I only watch the pay-per-views. And I'm not saying that everything has to be on the pay-per-views, but more stuff should be on the pay-per-views. And because if you go back and watch, like I'm not going to go watch a random SmackDown or Raw in 10 years. I'm going to go back and watch a pay-per-view because that's kind of encapsulates everything going on. But Cody, I mean, like what's his feuds been against AJ, against Kevin Owens? Like, no offense, like they're kind of ruined in my eyes. They've been on the main roster. Kevin Owens 9 years, AJ Styles 8 years, and really haven't done shit. That's just to be frank. I couldn't name you a feud like within. I mean, like the last year, they've been taken more seriously because Triple H, but nobody really viewed him as a credible threat. AJ Styles can have a good match, he can have a good performance, but he's not Roman Reigns. Kevin Owens is not Roman Reigns. There's only one guy in this company that truly matters, and it's Roman Reigns. And Cody's been done a great job of being, number two. He's number two, and he's going to be number two until Roman Reigns retires, or somebody else comes out and takes number one. Because I don't ever see Cody being, the whole company. Like he's a great guy that's going to be at Raw. He's going to be at SmackDown. He's going to be at the house shows, but if people aren't, maybe some people, but like there's people that don't watch anything that only watch Roman Reigns. And I don't think that many people are that way about Cody. I mean, but like, what are we, like I said, we're talking about AJ Styles and Kevin Owens. Like, there's other people on that roster, like Randy Orton, that we should have seen him by now. CM Punk should have seen it by now. Seth Rollins, Drew McIntyre. There's these people that are like really good and doing like great things that they're like not even like interacting that much, and it's like, oh, we gotta wait for WrestleMania, we gotta wait for the Royal Rumble, and it's like, what about me watching every single day, or watching every single week, or watching every single pay-per-view? I can't have a fillet once a month. I gotta have, I gotta eat Golden Corral every other day. But that one time a year, you're gonna treat me right. I don't really like how that kind of is. That's not any other TV show. That's not any other thing. But that's what they're doing with Cody, and people are kind of bored of it. And he had so much promise and so much potential, and beating the Golden Goose and Roman Reigns, and I don't hear about it. I don't really watch the product for the last couple months that like closely, but I hear about Roman Reigns, I hear about Rhea Ripley, I don't hear about Cody Rhodes. So if you're number one guy ain't having no buzz, that's not a good thing. But I'm sure his WrestleMania this year is going to be great, and then it's not, and then for the next 8 months it's going to fall off again.
Yo, bro,
And
no. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I agree. I definitely agree with that. That's why I was like with Saturday night's main event. I was kind of hoping that Kevin Owens did actually defeat Cody. I thought it would have made the most sense for him to lose it there. I just feel that when it comes to Cody Rhodes, like I said, I thought he's done a great job this year. Because I told you, I thought by SummerSlam, the fans was going to turn on him, but they haven't. Like they're still very much behind him, which credit to him. And despite the bad booking that he's been under, he was still able to keep his fan base. I'm just saying, like, compared to the beginning of the year, he was no question the hottest babyface in the company. He pretty much has become their version of John Cena. Like, he's pretty much become that now. But I also want to say this too. First of all, you'll say something, Mark?
Oh, yeah. No, so what I wanted to say was like just piggybacking off of Arlo, if I can remember what I wanted to say, because I ain't gonna lie, my memory be kind of bad sometimes. What was I trying to say? Oh, yeah. So what Arlo is saying, I completely agree with that too. And I think the biggest issue they have with Cody Rhodes and just wrestling in general that I see a lot is the fact that if you want to have Cody Rhodes have like a long title reign, that's fine, right? Like, so
Yeah.
when I said earlier, like they should go back to having like, a week title run or a month title run, I'm all for that too, right? Because I mentioned it. But if you're gonna have those long title runs, like Arlo said, for the people who watch it every single day, every single week, they keep up with everything that's going on. You got to have these characters interacting a lot. You got to have that looming threat, right? So I don't want to see Randy Orton show up after 8 months of being on the same brand with Cody Rhodes, come out one random SmackDown and be like, I've been on that title, and then just drop him with an RKO. That don't work for me, brother. What you need to do is have the looming threat story, right? So they did this a while back. I remember, I forgot the pay-per-view, but I remember it happening where Cody beat somebody, and then like after the match, Orton was standing right there behind Cody. And the whole time he was standing there, he's just looking at the belt, right? He's just standing there, just looking at it. Why don't we have people come out and just do that to Cody Rhodes, right? Because what that does is, even though you're not about to have the match next week or the week after, you're keeping people interested to hang on to something. It's like this like branching story arc that's not about to take place, but it keeps people's thought like, oh, CM Punk just randomly came out after Cody's match and just like stared at him and like, yeah, that title's finna be mine, right? Or just anything. Like, you can't have these people not interact for months and a year and then just randomly start like a blood feud. It's just kind of weird to me. Like, y'all all in the same locker room, y'all all in the same brands or whatever. Y'all all want the same thing, which is the title, right? So y'all should be interacting more, even if the storyline isn't going to be right now. You put that thought in people's heads, and it just keeps, because Triple H, like Arlo said, loves to book these. And remember, y'all, this is key because I think a lot of people confuse Triple H for being a bad writer. Triple H is just the booker. He's not back there writing the shows. He's just the booker. He's the guy saying, I want this guy and that guy and this guy and that guy. And now the creative writers have to make it make sense. So remember that always when y'all say like, the Triple H era is boring or mundane. Maybe that's just the creative writing and how he likes to process stuff, but he's just the booker. So, you got to be able to make people feel like they're not just watching something boringly and like just hoping for something to happen. You got to give them something to hang on to month after month, week after week. Because like I said before, it's a never ending story. So yeah, that's really what I wanted to add for real.
Good point. Good point. Now let's go ahead and talk about The Rock and his involvement in the WrestleMania build. Now I remember, Mark, you said on one commentary that this year was really your first time seeing The Rock like perform on WWE television.
Yep.
And I gotta say, The Rock was absolutely fantastic in the build WrestleMania. He definitely elevated the shows. But I remember at the time I was thinking the biggest problem that I had with it was that The Rock was overshadowing Roman Reigns. And Roman Reigns is supposed to be the champion. And it got to a point where it felt like it was Rock and Cody instead of Roman and Cody. In that little month span where we had The Rock as the final boss, where he pretty much came in, and not just overshadowed everybody, but overshadowed the whole roster. How did you guys feel about The Rock as the final boss in the build to WrestleMania? Oh, and if you want to talk about, him including himself into the main event and the fan reaction and all that stuff.
Well, I mean, looking back on it, I think him being a part of Mania was a good idea. It made it that much bigger. In terms of him just like still in the spotlight, I think that's just fan perception, right? Like the fans have The Rock at such a high regard that, of course, anyone you throw him out there with, they're going to get overshadowed. No doubt about it. I think at that point, I would have probably went a different way with the storyline, though, just so Roman Reigns doesn't look like an idiot and not realize, like, oh, The Rock is kind of still in my spotlight. I can't have it. It's like we didn't get none of that. It was just like he was cool with it. So I don't know. I'm not really digging that part of it.
Not exactly, because I remember there was a segment on SmackDown when The Rock was doing his thing, and then he was gonna do the "If You Smell," and then Roman like put his hand on Rock's shoulder, and he made him acknowledge him.
True, I'll give you that, but I would counter argue that and say that was only one moment. We didn't get like any subtle moments of like just backstage or like anything else. It was just that one moment that was like Roman wants respect.
Oh, you know what I mean? You're right on that. Where it felt like Rock was more the leader.
Yeah. But yeah, overall, I don't have a problem with Rock being involved. I think it made WrestleMania bigger and better. We all seem to like it, and that was my first time seeing Rock perform for real. So hey, I was all for it. So I was cool with the final boss. I love that character.
The final boss is great. I mean, anybody having a problem with The Rock coming back, like, what are you talking about? People were mad about like, oh, he's allowed to say this stuff. I'm like, yeah, he's like the most famous guy on earth. What do you expect? He can do whatever, say whatever, dress whatever, have blood. That's the fucking Rock. And yeah, he's one of the best wrestlers of all time. He can still cut a great promo. His match was good. Like Mark said, it made WrestleMania better. Hopefully, we get to see more Rock. And I think they put some stuff out there to sow the seeds. But like that promo with Cody, eventually him and Roman as well too. And I'm excited to see what he's going to do next too, since he is a board director too. So he is the final boss.
Facts. I forgot all about that.
Yeah, he's Triple H's boss. He's everybody's boss.
Somebody really is the GOAT. Shout out Rock, bro.
Yeah, he got the Rock back too. He took his name back.
Oh, damn. All
yeah,
right.
He didn't own the Rock. He was like licensing it from WWE.
Bro, I never knew that. Like this whole time.
Oh yeah. Rock had a good year this year for sure. Okay, but yeah, anybody who had their thoughts on Cody Rhodes' run, go ahead and leave in the chat or in the comment section. All right, so let's now get to the second biggest story that happened this year, and that is the Vince McMahon allegations.
I'm staying out of this one. Yeah, I have no comments on that. That's not wrestling. That's just Vince being freaky. Get him out of here.
But okay, so for those who may not know, Miss Janelle Grant, released a lawsuit on Vince McMahon and pretty much implicating that Vince, John Laurinaitis, pass her around, and they do some really weird, freaky things to this woman. And one of the biggest names that was dropped in that lawsuit, never really said his name, but they said he was a former UFC fighter, and it was Brock Lesnar. And Brock Lesnar, as of right now, has pretty much been blacklisted from the WWE. And just really quickly, now, even though nothing has been proved, it's all alleged, And again, I broke down the Brock's involvement in a video I did where, they talked, they were going to set up a date, but there was a storm in the way. And so him and Janelle never really met. Do you guys think we will ever see Brock Lesnar in a WWE ring for the foreseeable future?
Okay, that's where we're going. Okay, so before I really because like, dude, the thing is with me when it comes to that whole situation is, who am I to speak on not the Brock stuff, but the other guy stuff? Who am I to speak on that, right? Like, those are real people, real situations. I don't want to talk about it. But in terms of Brock, me personally, I don't think we need Brock Lesnar anymore. And it ain't got nothing to do with the allegations at all. It's just, what do we need him for? Like, WWE has had such a great year in terms of just like fan attendance, just social media numbers, just everything across the board without Brock. So do you really need Brock? I don't think so. Considering everything that happened, and just even if it's true or it's not true, it's just maybe now's not the best time. So if he shows back up, cool, no big issue there. But if he don't show up, cool. Like, I think we're past Brock. We got a lot of people in the pipeline who are ready, like, to take Brock's spot, who are younger, who have a lot of potential. Like, we just don't really need Brock, in my personal opinion.
Arlo?
I mean, yeah, I never really thought about it. No, you don't need anybody, though. It's like Roman took 6 months off, and the show was completely fine without it. It was still revolving around him, but you can have people not be around anymore, and the company's going to roll on. They're going to make new stars. The only little thing I have is he was in the process of helping establish new stars. He just helped Cody a lot, and I'm sure he was going to help other young stars now. And
oh yes, and to piggyback off that, before his name was dropped, it was heavily suggested that the WrestleMania match was going to be him and Gunther at WrestleMania.
Oh yeah, that match would have hit.
Yeah, that made sense too. I was just saying, there's a point in wrestling where it's because Brock Lesnar, it was Brock Lesnar, and Roman Reigns for such a long time on top of the card for almost a decade, actually a decade pretty much at that point. And it was okay, now we're gonna see him. He was the top guy for such a long time. Now I think he's 46 now, so maybe he has 1 or 2 years left. So let him help out some of the younger guys, and have a match against, like you said, Gunther. Yeah, of course, and a Braun Breaker. A lot of people are talking about too, and have that happen.
Him and Jacob Fatu.
Yeah, Jacob Fatu. Establish these guys. Have them, if they can beat Brock Lesnar, man, they're in another level at that point. But there's a big but, and yeah,
it's Rikishi.
Yeah, he got to come back.
He's got to go
real
back.
Tribal Chief.
The real Tribal Chief.
Yeah, but at that point, it's who knows what's gonna happen, and yeah, I have no idea. So if he can get out that pretty clean, well, I think we'll see him back for a year. But we really don't need him though. But it just really depends on what happens. So,
oh yeah,
no clue,
dude.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, the thing is, before that, bro, I know they ain't do nothing with the man, but there was at one point where I was like, yo, he's fighting Omos. This is different, right? Because it's not him at the top of the card. I'm like, I kind of like this. And then
we was smiling and shit.
Bro, he was having a time of his life out there. Yeah. So I'm like, yeah, I kind of like this, bro. Thinking about him and obviously a Oba Femi, bro, that match would have been insane. Javon Evans, him going out there F5 and come on, bro. That boy really gonna be bouncy. It sucks. That's what I'll say about the situation. It sucks that Brock was involved with that whole thing because it just kind of like Arlo said, bro. You saw him have this moment with Cody, and it's like, yeah, say what you want about the feud because I definitely didn't think the feud was all that spectacular or anything, but the moment at SummerSlam was awesome. Everyone loved that moment with him raising Cody's hand and giving him that nod, like, yeah, all right, now you go on to WrestleMania and do what you got to do. It was like, it just sucks, man, that he had to be involved with that. But like we said, if he comes back, great. If he doesn't, like Arlo mentioned before, you don't really need him because it's a ever revolving door of new talent coming in, new people rising to the top. So yeah.
Yeah, Vince, Laurinaitis, and Brock found themselves in a very shitty situation. But
What
yeah.
about you though, James? Like, how do you feel about if he came back?
Look, the shows would greatly benefit from Brock coming back. Especially this version of Brock that we've had. The happy, country boy Brock. Like anytime Brock shows up, it's always a plus. It's always a plus. The shows would benefit from him to being there. Look, like I said, I'll say when it comes to actual allegations, Brock isn't really doing anything illegal per se. If anything, he just proves he's just a freaky ass nigga. That's really what it's just showing. I hope that whatever Brock, connection, I would like to see Brock come back. Like I would love to see him. I really wanted to see that match with him and Gunther. I would love to see him versus Braun Breaker. I would love to see him versus Jacob Fatu. You just said Obafemi. I would love to see him with Obafemi. Brock's at the stage now we should be putting over the young talent. There's a lot of young talent for him to put over. Yeah, it is very unfortunate. Hopefully Brock is clean from this. But if Brock is at the point where he just wants to chill on his farm, and just relax, enjoy his retirement, I got no problem with that too. Brock has done way more than enough for the industry. But if Brock comes back, it will greatly help the shows. But chat, what's your thoughts on the Brock Lesnar situation? Oh, before we end, please be sure to hit that like and subscribe button. And I hope you guys are enjoying this year-end conversation. I'm definitely having a blast here. So let's go on to the next story. CM Punk exposing AEW. CM Punk and AEW, as we all know, has had a very bad breakup. And for a good second there, CM Punk and AEW were kind of quiet about each other, never mentioned each other. And CM Punk, who unfortunately was injured at the Royal Rumble, he was still involved with the WrestleMania media run, and he had an interview with Ariel Helwani, and Ariel Helwani, who is not a big fan of Tony Khan himself, pretty much kind of slowly dragged the tea out of CM Punk and his experience in AEW. And CM Punk he was hesitant about it, but he pretty much gave his version of what happened in the last few months in AEW, where he talked about the situation with Hangman Adam Page, where he talked about where it's not really what he said that irritated him. It was the fact that Hangman pretty much went off script and tried to embarrass Punk at his expense. He talked about the situation where he thought that having a collision, being on two different shows, he said it was not going to work. He talked about the Jack Perry situation where he pretty much did confirm that he did. He just choked him out a little bit, and he pretty much told Tony Khan this place is a joke, and you guys are not a real business. I'm in the business of making money. And he pretty much exposed AEW, and this would led to AEW doing, we all know that Tony Khan he's a tad reactionary. And
you don't say, huh?
Yeah, he's a little bit reactionary. And this lead to him doing what I think probably one of the dumbest things you could possibly do. So we get to the situation where the Young Bucks attack Tony Khan, storyline-wise. And this would lead to eventually Tony Khan and AEW airing the all-out footage of the quote-unquote fight between CM Punk and Jack Perry. And ever since this moment, you could say pretty much led to the downfall of AEW. Now, I can say that I've watched AEW pretty consistently this year, and this was not a good year. Like, this was a very, very cold year. Outside of a couple of bright spots, it's been a dead year. And the CM Punk interview, Eric Helwani, really did show that, because right now they're averaging viewers like 600, 700,000. When they aired that All Out situation, they were hovering between like 800, 850,000 mark, and they dropped significantly, and they're getting lower and lower. So from what you guys have seen, what were your thoughts on the Eric Helwani interview that CM Punk posted? And do you think CM Punk was wrong for that, or do you think he was completely in the right? And how do you guys feel about them airing the all-out situation? Them showcasing a WWE superstar that's not there, but he's with the competition to prove a point.
Hey, man.
What do you guys thought about that situation?
There's a lot of things we could talk about with AEW. I think what I have to say about them later on will surprise everybody. But just talking about this situation, I would say that, CM Punk has a history of just kind of being a very outspoken person. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. Yeah, petty. You could definitely use the word petty, and I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm not saying it's a good thing. It's just the way CM Punk is. So you just got to know when you're doing, business with someone like that, he might have a tendency to just kind of, go off the rails a little bit. And then obviously AEW airing the footage of CM Punk was just kind of strange, and I think for the fans that, love the product of AEW, it kind of felt like disrespectful to them, because you have those people who stuck around. And to me, those are like your real fans of AEW, the people that stuck around after CM Punk left, and they're trying to root on for this company to, be a competitor. And the last thing you want to see is the guy that left like that, right? It's not like CM Punk left on good terms or anything. He left in the worst terms possible. And I know we could go back and forth on him getting fired, whether or not that was the right decision or not. I would say it probably was, just for the simple fact that he was causing too many problems backstage. No matter how big of a superstar you are, having backstage be just in a complete frenzy is not good for a company. Because at the end of the day, it's not about the person, it's about the company's bottom dollar and their bottom line. So, just overall, CM Punk is definitely petty, and he didn't have to go out there and just say all that like that about AEW, but he did. And AEW handled it in the worst way possible by, instead of just going out there and showcasing their talent and doing what they usually do, putting on banger wrestling matches, and just sticking to how they like to operate, they wanted to be petty right back to him. And it just came across very just weird. So yeah, I didn't like the way, I didn't like either side. I don't like the way any of it went down from either side. I can't pick like, oh, CM Punk was right or AEW was right. I think everyone in that situation was petty and handled it very poorly. So
not only were they petty, but then they had Cope come out and cut that very cringe rah-rah AEW speech, and that whole situation was just really, really petty and really childish. Arlo, what are your thoughts on CM Punk's interview? Talk about his experience at AEW, and do you think that he was wrong for that?
I mean, that was the conclusion of CM Punk and AEW. So I think it just had to happen. You know, everybody knows CM Punk. It was gonna come out one way or another. You know, everybody remembers that Colt Cabana podcast. He completely destroyed WWE and probably ruined Ryback's whole career. I mean, Ryback wasn't anything, but still, he destroyed him, and that's what CM Punk does.
Almost ruined Roman's career.
Yeah, I
completely
forgot about that.
You got to keep Roman strong, pal. I forgot about that too. Oh God.
Yeah, he was just going at everybody who wronged him in the slightest. So, but that's what you expect when you sign CM Punk. I don't know why they thought that, especially how AEW was, because AEW to CM Punk was like everything not WWE, and the thing is, you realize that like he might be right. It might be everything that's not WWE because you know, you can say everything you can about WWE, but like they have a schedule, they have like talent, they have trainers, they have like if you get hurt, they'll help you out. They have all that kind of stuff. And for AEW to be called out by CM Punk when he almost died in the WWE is like maybe it's just him getting older and realizing like specific things, but like yeah he like I think he got so quickly that what's it called, that he like I don't know. I don't know what happened because I mean there's his story and then the other story and we only know one. But like him coming in, he was like having good feuds with like MGF and Ricky Starks and stuff. So it that brawl out moment was really like a time in history in like AEW because it went from like okay, AEW is great, there's nothing bad about it, and then that happens and it went from like people like oh AEW there's nothing wrong with it to like wait, what's going on? And that kind of became the focus of AEW instead of like the actual like product on screen at that moment. And once you do that, it's very hard to like steady the ship. And then the year after All In, you know, something went wrong again, and then it just like it went from like oh like people loving AEW to like what's going on to like there's like a whole bunch of problems going on, and you know CM Punk, you know, like I said, he'll bury everybody. So that brawl out post press conference too, that was something, and he was doing it right next to Tony Khan, which is the funniest part.
Oh, God. I forgot about that.
So,
Jesus, man.
Yeah, that was. You remember that? Like the microphone was messed up too, so like you sounded like the devil a little bit.
Oh, dude, yeah, like it was all low pitched. That was crazy. Yeah. I'm like,
Tony Khan's like, I'm not gonna take this shit.
Yeah, he got Tony Khan like Tony started getting fired up, and I'm like, I don't know what's happening anymore, man.
Yeah. So and then like the interview this year, like Mark said, why would you even do that? You know, as a corporation, you shouldn't have even acknowledged that, and they showed the footage of exactly what he was saying, so it just makes him sound true about everything, even if it's not. So that was bad on their part, but I mean, CM Punk's gonna CM Punk.
Yeah,
not surprising.
I think it's only a matter of time. I know this sounds crazy, but I just think it's only a matter of time before CM Punk starts CM Punking again. Like it's just that's his nature. That's what he does.
I agree with you. I mean, even though right now, as we've seen, Like we've been saying that CM Punk has been on his absolute best behavior since he's come. Like, bro, like he is so. And this is what I think, Arlo. You said this is what kind of annoys you. You said you want toxic Punk back. So you don't like this nice guy Punk that's in WWE right now.
Yeah, I mean, well, CM Punk cut his best promo at a press conference. Like that and the pipe bomb are these two top like promos to me, but it's not healthy.
No.
You're gonna burn out and like get fired again. You know, he got fired twice. So, you know, I think he's more part-time now, so he should be okay. And I don't think he's gonna be there for that long. I think he might have 2, maybe 3 years left. But I think yeah, him being part-time and not being at like every Raw or every pay-per-view, it's really gonna help. And like in AEW, it felt like he was like the boss too. And he just got frustrated with all these employees of his, and it's like he's not that at all, and he's not that at all in WWE.
Bro, my man's. I remember like we were like keeping up with like all like the stories and stuff, and it was so funny because he had like his whole thing where like, yeah, you're banned from Collision. You can't show up. You support the Young Bucks. Okay, you can't show up to my show.
Get the fuck out of my show.
This is my company.
I'm trying to run a business.
he was. I don't know, bro. It literally felt like at one point CM Punk was just trying his best to get out of there. Like I think he, bro. Like no, for real. Think about it, bro. When he first got there, he loved it. You could tell, bro. And then like
he loved it. Yes.
It was something. I don't know where it happened, but something happened, and my man's just literally just said, "You know what? I hate it here. I want to get out of here." And so every chance he got, he would do something. He would say something. He would go out of pocket, and you know, I just think he didn't want to be there no more. And I think the biggest disservice to all of that is the fact that we never got what I felt like we should have got was CM Punk and Daniel Bryan. We never. I just think that match ain't supposed to happen. I just truly believe that it's never supposed to happen. And we never got the matches that everyone assumed would have helped like mitigate the damage done with CM Punk and would have made the company a ton of money, which was the whole CM Punk and FTR versus the Elite storyline.
Yes.
That would have been great. And I think, dude, if you think about it, wouldn't it have been better if FTR and CM Punk would have been the ones trying to take over the company instead of the Elite trying to take over the company that they already owned?
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm just saying.
Absolutely.
I'm just, you know, how you gonna take over a company you already a boss in? It don't really make sense to me.
Well, let's look at it from CM Punk's perspective. Okay, let's say Mark Arlo, you're CM Punk. Okay, you're going into wrestling for the first time in 7 years. You're going to this company that was pretty much was built for you, right? You get there, you're happy, and then your employees, right? One, they're talking behind you. They're talking behind your back constantly, right? Then you got other EVPs that's spreading rumors and misinformation allegedly to the dirt sheet rise whatsoever, like throwing it out there that the locker doesn't want you there whatsoever. Then so much so you may or may not have lied or gassed up Adam Hangman Page to encourage him to go off script on you. Then you got the Jack Perry situation. Mark, you said one of the funniest things I ever heard was that how much you would have bet that the Young Buck went to Jack Perry and said, "Don't take that from him. You're Jack Perry."
Jack Perry, man.
You're Jack Perry. So
can you believe this guy?
Come on, man. Fucking Jack Perry.
If you're in that working environment, sooner or later you're going to crash out. And even when after you leave, they're still like talking shit about you, and like it kind of gets to a point where Punk's like, okay, and Punk tried. Like it's been famously known that Punk tried to have a sit down because Punk said, I'm not here to make friends, I'm here to make money. He tried to have a sit down with the Elite. Apparently, Omega was down for it, but the Young Bucks weren't, and Tony Khan, not being a boss, pretty much let it all fester, and it got to what happened. So, to Punk's credit, he tried to make it work. And that's why I respect what Roman and Seth Rollins has done. Because Roman was not very happy with the idea of Punk coming back. And we all know how Seth reacted to it. But it just kind of shows the maturity and professionalism that we just brought up Roman. Roman, out of everybody, has the biggest reason not to want to work with this guy. But he was willing to put aside his feelings for the sake of the business. So that's why I really respect what Roman did and what Seth is currently doing right now. We ain't got to be friends. We ain't got to be buddy-buddy. Hey, I'm still not very much, I don't like you very much. But let's go here and make this money. And that's what pro wrestling should be about, making money.
Oh yeah, 100%, bro. Like you can clearly see on TV, just how they interact with each other. You can tell it ain't no love lost between CM Punk and them guys, bro. Like there are people who, if they had it their way, he wouldn't be there at all. But the fact that he is there, they're like, well, shit, let's go make some money. You know, let's just go make some money. I don't like you, you don't like me, but we gonna protect each other in that ring and we gonna make some money. So that's the best way to handle that situation. And you know, AEW has a habit of, I guess, like you have to be down with that like that group, right? You know how they say, like in the music industry, if you ain't down with this certain clique or this certain group or whatever, you really ain't gonna make it that far. And that's kind of how it is with AEW. Is like, if you're not a part, huh?
So I don't know if you ain't down to do some certain things, you ain't gonna make it far in the music industry. 2024 showed us that.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, clues, yeah. Yikes. Hey man, I'm staying far away from that one too. Get up. Yeah, I'm staying far away from that. But yeah, no, for real though, like they have a tendency of like it's a friendship kind of thing and not like money. And I get it. It's because, say what you want about Vince in a way, but Vince had to work to get wrestling where it is now. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, he had to work for that. It wasn't handed to him. He took a gamble on making wrestling bigger than it ever could be, and it worked. Tony Khan just stumbled into something because his dad gave him $1 billion, right? So it's different. It's a different type of mentality when you have a business, when you had to get it from, you know, the ground up, compared to just, I have money, I'm gonna start a company. It's different. It's a different aspect.
It is, man. It is. Oh, anything else? Anything else you want to add to this?
No, I'm good.
All right. So then I get to, well, it may not be big news or big story, but it is for me. And I just want to ask people in the chat, and I want to ask you guys: has AEW fallen off?
Oh.
It still applies. It still applies.
Has AEW, yes.
Yes.
Because, I mean, AEW, they officially reached their deal with Max, so it wasn't all bad. But in terms of content and in terms of what we see on a week-to-week basis, you could say they have fallen off big time. It's gotten so bad that even the hardcores of AEW fans are turning around saying, okay, this is kind of trash. There's been some bright spots. Like I said, we had the debut of Mercedes Moné, which I'm going to say right here, I don't think that she had the best rookie year in AEW. In my personal opinion, I think she had more bad moments than good. You had Kazuchika Okada make his debut in an AEW. I don't think he's had the best year in AEW. I think he's been very lackluster. The one person you can say that has made an impact AEW is Will Ospreay. Will Ospreay made his debut, and you clearly see that Tony Khan is ready to put the rocket ship behind him. He's pretty much going to be there, John Cena. But really, nothing memorable has been happening. One of the more consistent things about the show, one of the good things about the show, was Tony Storm, timeless Tony Storm. MJF, he's still one of the more consistent guys on the roster, but I think this whole thing with Adam Cole has really dragged him down. I thought Swerve had a really good year, defeating Samoa Joe, becoming the first Black AEW champion. I thought the Tony Storm Mariah May feud was actually really good. But outside of that, and of course you have the Hangman Adam Page and Swerve feud when Adam Page burned down Swerve's house. So there were good moments here and there, but you could say this is probably AEW's worst year when it comes to TV programming. How do you guys feel about AEW in 2024? Do you guys feel it has fallen off? Because I remember, Mark, you at one point, you was at a point where you was, pardon the pun, all in with AEW, and then I was gotten to a point where you don't care to watch it. So has it fallen off?
Yeah. I mean, what do you want me to say? Like, I don't think there's an argument there. But what I will say is that I think they're doing good business. Falling off, you can fall off and still do good business. Got a TV deal. They got like you said, the streaming deal with Max. I actually got a marketing email today from Max. I guess because obviously tomorrow they make their debut on there. The fact that Will Ospreay is on the cover of that like thing with they got, I think it's Steph Curry, LeBron James, and somebody else, and then Will Ospreay on that cover. Just kind of goes to show you that they kind of hold this deal with AEW in high regard for whatever reason, right? So that's good. My thing is AEW has yet to find their story, right? Like, so we've had good stories, but they haven't been able to find that one story. And I think they've had it on multiple occasions. Obviously, the CM Punk stuff. They had something going the first night when Tony Khan got a package power driver or whatever you call that move. They had something going there. Something. People cared.
That man was so happy to take a bump on that, bro.
Oh, dude, it was the way when he got hit with the microphone and like delayed like the fall. It was serious. It's like, oh, I got hit. What's he doing, man? He's a great character, but I think their feud that they should have really, really went with was Hangman and Swerve, bro. I think that was their big story. You built these two guys up. Swerve came from being kind of a lower card act in WWE in his last tenure there, and then he got to AEW, and he was for all the faults that company has, he was one of those guys that managed to get over, despite the fact that AEW has that tendency of like big debut, big signing, hashtag all elite. They have one crazy match on Dynamite, then 2 weeks later, they're relegated to Rampage. And the moment you see someone wrestle on Rampage, they're cooked. They're done. But Swerve was able to overcome all that and became arguably like their top 5 in terms of like just like overall stars. So that's big for him. But they've definitely fallen off. They've definitely took a hit, and I think that's normal, right? Like I don't want this to be like a Debbie Downer on AEW, because I feel like every company has those down moments. Every company has those off years. And it's up to them to bounce back. But remember, WWE has had some really bad years. WWE ain't always gonna be up, y'all. Like just remember that. They are so up right now that the only thing to do is go back down. That's how crazy up they are right now. And it's business. It happens. It fluctuates up and down all the time. So I don't want to say like they're done at all, but this has just been a piss poor year in terms of fan perception, just overall talk about the product. You don't see anybody talk about it. There's no marketing behind it. Like I have yet to walk into like a town or get anything like an ad saying, "Hey, AEW's in town," or "Hey, AEW's going to be on TV." You don't get none of that. Meanwhile, all you hear every single day for like the past 6 months is Raw's going to be on Netflix. Raw's coming to Netflix. Everyone knows this. But I can tell you, no one knows the fact that AEW is going to be on Max outside of the people who are hardcore watching AEW. And I think that's their biggest issue is their marketing team is atrocious and they need to fix that. But yeah, falling off for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah. That's something everybody knows. Even if you watch AEW, it's been a very rough year. Not just like you just talked about they lost CM Punk, but they lost Sting. Brian Daniel retired. Eddie Kingston got hurt. Cope got hurt. Adam Cole was hurt for like years. MJF was out. Kenny Omega was hurt. Like it's been that's like pretty much all their top stars, So, and unfortunately, they're not really great at building up. They got Swerve and Hangman, but aside from those two, like everybody's saying, like I really haven't heard anything about what AEW is doing at all. When AEW used to be the conversation in wrestling, there was a time where AEW, like nobody was talking about WWE at all. Everybody's just talking about, oh, do you see what happened on AEW? People that watch it don't even bring it up because they're like, yeah, nobody's watching this right now.
Mm-hmm.
That's where they're at right now. But because like I think all of us were. I know James still watches it, but like I bought 6 or 7 AEW pay-per-views. I bought the first All In. I was all in. I was like, all right, this is what wrestling's gonna be. And I don't know if it was like the wave of anti WWE because it was bad at the time, or people wanted to see something different. But right now, it's like they lost all of that, and it'd be tough. It's going to be tough to get it back. They can. That's the thing. They have enough talent that they can do it. If you look at AEW's roster, nobody's saying that this isn't a good roster because that's just a lie. They have a great roster. They have a lot of talented people, but maybe Tony Khan's burnt out, or he's used all of his storylines in the first couple of years and really has nothing to get there with. I don't know what it is. And like even with Will Ospreay, I think I think he's really good and can be like the face of the company. But imagine coming in like CM Punk had a lot of buzz coming into the WWE in like 2005 or 2006. Imagine if he beat John Cena in like 2006 and became the champion like in his first year. That would never happen. You kind of have to build people up gradually.
yes.
And because you have your established stars, but if you just shit on them, they're like, "Oh, this is what's going on now? This doesn't make any sense. Why would Will Ospreay should have been like in the main, he's already in main events like immediately." And people just started seeing him on TV for like the first time ever. Maybe if you're like a really hardcore fan, but like imagine if you're a fan of like Hangman Page and you just see Will Ospreay just pass him up. And it's like, what the fuck, dude? I've been watching this for such a long time. I'm invested in that guy. And now this guy just passed him up because he has some great matches. Like as a fan, that would kind of piss me off a little bit. But you know, that's kind of how they do things over there. But so, you know, I don't know how many people have. There's a lot of people that have stopped watching AEW, and I'm one of them. Even the pay-per-views, I can take them or leave them at this point. And I do. I think everybody on the panel agrees that they want a second product and something that, you know, they can
Oh,
tell
yeah.
people about, and like, oh, do you see this happen and this? And because if both shows are doing good, then it'll make both shows better. But if one show is not, you know, WWE's doing good right now, but if WWE can slip in an instant, I think what Mark was saying, that they can go from like doing really great to like just being okay again. And but if they don't have that like heat from AEW like crawling on the back of their neck like they were at a time, then it's not really good for the industry at all. So I think everybody wants them to do well, but I don't think they. Yeah, it's just tough.
Dude, it was
Shout out.
like no, go
Well,
ahead.
just real quick, I just want to give a shout out to Ben. He says people aren't paying attention, but a downfall period is definitely on the way for WWE. I can agree with that. But with the ticket prices and all that stuff, yeah, I could see it happening. And also, too, Ben is we all know Ben is a known hater of today's modern wrestling, and he's pretty much been preying on the downfall of WWE this whole year. More specifically, Triple H. Like he wants that man fired since he got us sat in the chair. But go ahead, Mark.
No, so like what I was saying was like it's clear as day that Mr. Tony Khan had a plan. You know the old saying they always say everybody got a plan till they get punched in the mouth. I think that's exactly what happened to Tony Khan. Everything was going his way. He was winning the war. If there ever was a war, he was winning that. And the moment he stopped winning, it was like, wait a minute, what do I do? I think he panicked. He just like he didn't know what to do at all. Right. And that's the thing. Triple H and Vince at the time and all these guys, they have had to weather the storm multiple times throughout WWE's like just life cycle of being a company. They've had so many down periods and up periods that it's like they know how to just like grab the flag and just weather the storm until it passes. Tony don't know how to do that. He's a baby to this, bro. He's literally a kid compared to how old is WWE? Like 60 years? Like that's an old company, bro.
Yeah, like 60, 66, 67 years, yeah.
Bro, that's what I'm saying. AEW's like what, 5 years old now? It's a baby company. And the worst thing that happened to them was losing the perception war. And to give it a comparison is, you know how Apple makes iPhones every year and they look exactly the same, they function the exact same way. And people may say, dang, I don't really feel like I need to upgrade my phone. Or, man, Apple keeps making these boring, mundane products. But guess what? Every year, they are becoming a bigger and bigger company. This year, they're supposed to reach $4 trillion coming up in 2025. The first company to ever hit $4 trillion as a market cap. And the reason for that is perception, bro. Like that's what's going on with AEW. The perception is they suck. The perception is it's embarrassing to talk about them. The perception is Tony Khan is a crybaby. There's so many different perceptions about the company that is negative compared to just like back with it, bro. When I was watching AEW religiously in 2019, bro, it was bro, it was different. You never felt embarrassed, bro. Like I never felt embarrassed. Like, yo, go watch AEW. I never once said like, man, you shouldn't bother with AEW. Everybody was there. The perception was like, this is the greatest thing since sliced bread. So they lost that war. Secondly, I do want to agree with Arlo about the fact that having Will Ospreay just show up is and just become the top guy is kind of weird from like the perspective of someone who, and I know how Tony Khan operates. His audience, at least the way he perceives it, is the fact that you are someone who watches all wrestling, right? Not just the main companies. You're watching, you know what? I don't even know the name of them, so I'm gonna just leave it at all companies, right? You're watching all of those, And you've seen Will Ospreay from day one up until the time he's become the big star in AEW. But for the people like myself, who I didn't know who Will Ospreay was, and other people, it's like, who is this guy? Like he don't look like some dude that should just be coming in, wrecking shop, being the top guy. You got to give it, like Arlo said, the gradual, payoff. Someone like Brock Lesnar, you could do that with, because look at how Brock Lesnar looked. It was a whole different ball game there. And then you look at someone like Okada, who I think that's their biggest mistake, is not signing Okada, but not presenting him in the biggest light that he should be in. Because once again, if we're talking about people, right, who watched, Tony Khan's fans or AEW fans are the people who have watched all of wrestling, kept up with everything. Why isn't Okada Okada should be the guy, bro. Like, no one should be beating Okada from a story perspective, from a character perspective. He is the guy, right?
Now, Mark. I'm so glad you said that. I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but we got MG here, and MG, if you can hear me, Okada is your guy. Okada has been your guy for the longest time. So MG, if you could explain, because I said that Okada has flopped in his first year. So I got two questions for you. One, has AEW fallen off? And two, what have they done wrong with Okada in your opinion? If you can hear me, MG.
Give me 2 seconds. I'm walking back.
He walking back to the car. I just had to, yeah. No,
you can let Mark finish his point.
Yeah,
no, I think my point was pretty much finished. It was just saying, like, Okada, from the perspective of, if you watch everything, Okada should have been in the main event immediately. He shouldn't have been put into that stupid storyline with the Young Bucks. He should have just came in, wrecked shop, become champion, undefeated until Kenny Omega comes back and have the big match at All In or something. That's pretty much what I was gonna say.
You good now, MG?
Yeah, but I think the issue with Okada is, I mean, just like y'all said, he should have been a main eventer right away. He came in as a kind of a side piece to a bigger story, the whole EVP storyline. He came in as kind of the Young Buck sidekick at that point, and it's like, this is Okada we're talking about. And no, he didn't have to be like the number one true number one guy in the company, but they relegated him to like mid card. One of the best wrestlers on the planet, and dude who has a ton of charisma. He's clearly funny. Like, he can. There's a lot you could have done with Okada. But I think AEW's biggest issue is when they get to building somebody up and they finally get to the top, Tony Khan has no idea what to do with them, especially after they make it, to the championship. I mean, you look at what happened with MJF. You look at what happened with Ospreay. Ospreay was white hot when he first got there. He should have already been champion at this point. And look at where he's at on the card now. You look at Swerve. Like, Tony Khan has no idea what to do with, like, people that turn into stars. I mean, it took forever for them to build Hangman back up. I'm not even a big Hangman fan, but they had to go through a lot just to get him to the point where it's like, all right, we're turning him heel now. And now he's got this, but he also faded back to the background again as well, because you got the whole Moxley thing going on. So Tony doesn't seem to know what to do once he gets guys over the quote unquote over the hump, and then they end up going backwards. You look at what happened with the Acclaimed. They were at one point the most popular thing in the whole company. They got to the top, won the belts, and then what?
Yeah, nothing.
Like it's kind of become a pattern with the guys that he kind of pushes. Darby Allin, same thing. You can go to Wardlow, and I mean, there's a ton of people that you can kind of just see what he's done with them once they've reached the quote unquote mountaintop of the company, or towards the top of the mountain. He doesn't know.
That's
or
true,
he's got a new shiny toy, and everybody else falls to the wayside at that point. So I think that's a big issue. But I think the things that people thought AEW was doing well, Mark was talking about it. They are a niche product within a niche product. Wrestling is already a niche product, and now they are the niche within that genre.
Yup.
Agreed. Agreed, man. It really sucks because AEW has the potential. It legit has the potential to be a true alternative to WWE. Like they have the
But
money, they have the
I don't
resources.
think they need to be the alternative though. Like I know that word is like, I'm not saying copy WWE, and I get why you say alternative. Don't get me wrong, I get that. But you got to remember when they first started and they were hot, they weren't really the alternative. They were just telling better stories. Like wrestling is wrestling. You can't really be an alternative to something that is just wrestling, right? Like you just got to be able to tell good stories, if that makes sense. Like you right now, put it like this, bro. Compare the biggest storyline in AEW right now to the biggest storyline in WWE right now. You got the Bloodline, right? Every single week or every couple of weeks, there's something different that happens in the Bloodline. Sure, you may get the casual or like the usual beat down on SmackDown to close the show, but you always get these little moments like in between the story, just different little beats of like, ooh, Jay just stood up to Roman. What's about to happen now? Obviously, nothing happened for weeks, but the fact that they planted that seed in your head, it got you questioning what's going on, right? Like they do different stuff with their stories. I've been keeping my eye a little bit on the Jon Moxley stuff here and there, and I'm gonna tell you just from what I've seen on the pay-per-views that we have watched together,
Terrible.
it's terrible. And it's not the fact that it's Jon Moxley. It's literally the fact that it's the same thing every single pay-per-view. Moxley wins. Something crazy happens, but there's no payoff. I don't see anything on social media about a payoff. It's always just Moxley beat down this guy, and then that's it. Moxley beat down this guy, and that's it. There's no story beat. I don't see anyone questioning like who's the guy that like imagine if like they're still doing the beat downs, right? But then just randomly one week you have some wrestler come out. Maybe Sting comes out, just like a random one-off return because of what happened in Darby. And he's like, show me who's been calling the shots behind you, Moxley. Like who's the guy, who's the front man that you're being, the sidekick to, or whatever the case may be. Like just different little story beats in there to kind of make people hang on to the story. You having a beat down every single Wednesday to close the show is not going to hang someone onto the story. You pouring bleach down someone's mouth and no payback with that. I don't understand it, bro. It's just they have a terrible time, like MG said, of paying off stories and also just telling a cohesive story, bro. Like that's their biggest issues for me, at least.
Oh yeah, and I think the thing people also forget is when AEW came into existence, they came around at a time where WWE was arguably at its worst point ever. You're talking about the tail end of the McMahon era, where those shows were literally unwatchable.
Literally was the reason why we stopped doing commentaries.
They came around at a time where WWE was at its low point, and it kind of speaks to what Mark was talking about earlier about the brand loyalty and just the public perception. It's like if iPhone puts out a trash, let's say iPhone 20, and Samsung just happens to put out a great Galaxy Note. The next time iPhone puts out a next great iPhone, people are still going to flock to the iPhone, no matter how good that Galaxy was. And the reality is, if WWE is good, which at one point it had gotten to that really good on a weekly basis, it's not gonna matter what AEW does because WWE just got that brand loyalty and they've been around forever too. So
Yep.
I mean, AEW has yet to really. They've had some great storylines, but they have had yet to have anything that has had the impact, so to speak, of the Bloodline story, especially the last, not this year because it's fallen off, but the last like 3 years. AEW hasn't had anything that's touched that.
No,
And
like
I know people are saying that like the Bloodline is still too involved in all the stories that we got going on right now, but you kind of just look at what they parlayed their biggest story in years into.
bingo.
They parlayed it into Drew McIntyre, who arguably is the best heel in the game right now. They parlayed it into a Jey Uso solo run where he's one of the most over guys in the company. He parlayed it into
I think it might just crash MG.
Dude, no, like, see, this is why MG my nigga. Because I literally was just saying this, right? Wasn't I just saying this like when we were talking about like the whole thing about the Bloodline and Cody story? Didn't I say like that exact same thing about how literally, bro, this is I'm telling you, me and MG, we get it, bro. We understand it. You know what I'm saying? They're wrestling gods. We are them. But like, dude, no, for real, like everything revolves around the Bloodline, bro. And that's why WWE has been so successful. You have one story that arches into every single thing, like MG just said. The reason Drew McIntyre is so hot the way he is right now, pause, because that sounds crazy. But the reason he's that over, I should have just used that word the first time. Anyways, the reason why he's where he's at right now is because of the Bloodline. His whole character, bro, is literally, I hate the Bloodline for everything you did to me. Jey Uso gets popular because of the simple fact that he was always under Roman Reigns. Everything else that's happening in WWE is because of the Bloodline. Seth has a whole feud about bro. Steph wasn't even involved in Survivor Series, and yet he was a big time player, part of it, because it was like, is he going to put aside his differences to team with CM Punk and them to help take down this rogue Bloodline that Roman Reigns inherently made? But the reason Roman Reigns made that Bloodline is because Seth Rollins made Roman Reigns. Like, y'all got to understand, this is a different level of storytelling that we ain't seen in wrestling. This is like, they finally figured out how to have stories that branch off the main story without ending it, because wrestling never ends.
And it's not over. It's literally not over, because now, I mean, you got to think, what was the whole start of the Dominic heel turn, really?
Yeah, that was the whole thing with the Bloodline, bro.
Right? Like Roman.
Yeah.
Edge and Judgment Day.
Yo.
You see where that went, right? And you even start to look at the things that are probably in the future, right? You look at Jacob Fatu. You look at part of me is really believing that this whole Roman thing ends with Paul Heyman turning on him and teaming up with Bron Breakker. It just feels inevitable.
Mm-hmm.
You had the Brock Lesnar inclusion and all of this, which I know people got tired of Brock versus Roman, but Brock's a star. It just is what it is, right? I mean, you have a WrestleMania main event that brought back Undertaker and Cena and The Rock.
Yo,
you can't really, like, I don't think people really comprehend the magnitude of something like that.
Bro, you got Kevin Owens fighting Cody Rhodes because of the fact that he teamed with the guy that they fought so hard to take down for 2 years.
Yeah.
And then, eventually that's going to lead to Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn one day because of the whole he teamed with Roman Reigns. Like, it's, bro.
The return of Orton. The whole story was that they put him out of action. Right?
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot that is spawned off of this. Like
Sami Zayn.
Like,
his
it's
run.
so much, bro. It's so much that happened because of that, bro. Like, and that's what we were talking about with AEW. Is like, you could have had this. Like, imagine if you would have kept CM Punk, and then you would have had the whole CM FTR versus the Elite thing. And you know what? Hell, even if you ain't got CM Punk, the biggest story you had all year, like I said earlier, was Hangman Page versus Swerve Strickland. You could have easily had a scenario where, let's say, because Tony Khan loves tournaments, and you could have stole this idea from WWE, but it works. Hear me out. Right after they have their match, right? So right after the whole thing where Swerve gets just like killed with that steel chair shot, he's down for the count. He's out for weeks, maybe even a month. During this time, you got Hangman Page walking around, right? And he's walking around like telling everybody, if you was even associated with Swerve, I'm coming for you and I'm going to kill you or something like that, right? Now, I know this is the part where the storyline gets a little like, but it does have history. The Dark Order comes out. They start telling Hangman Adam Page, this ain't like you. Remember, you used to be the guy that everyone loved. We helped you, and without us, you wouldn't have became, AEW World Champion or something like that. Eventually, this all leads to some tag team stuff. One day, Hangman needs a partner because he want to go after the World Tag Team titles. Out of nowhere, he needs a partner. Guess what? Tony Khan pulls out some kind of like Russian roulette thing, and the name lands on Swerve. Now, Swerve and Hangman is a team. They hate each other, but they got to work together for the simple fact that they are a team now. So it's like the whole two-man power trip. And it's the whole thing of who going to turn on who first, right? And then you could have even tied that into MJF and Adam Cole. You could have had a whole main event tag team storyline right there, and everything revolves around those two stories. But they didn't go with that. Like MG said, they have a terrible time with like having a story and sticking with it, and having guys at the top and sticking with them. It's just, oh, you were champion? All right. I don't know what to do with you next. So yeah, we're just gonna move on.
You can beat some more people.
You're gonna beat some more people, and that's
new toy
for you. Yeah, dude. Like there was so many.
Have fun on Rampage,
bro. Imagine Rampage, dude. Like, imagine it gets to a point where Hangman and Adam Cole, or not Hangman and Cole, but Hangman and Swerve are like running shit so much to the point where like they still hate each other, but no one can stop them. Like their hatred for each other for some reason makes them such a great tag team. Boom, you enter the Hurt Syndicate. They're the only people that could take them down because Bobby Lashley is Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin is Shelton Benjamin, right? Or Will Ospreay could have came into this forefront. Like there's so many different things you could have did. You could have even had Hangman get help from Swerve to beat Bryan Danielson while they were tag team champions because he hates Hangman so much and he wants to be the one to take the belt from him. I'm not saying that's a great storyline idea, but what I am saying is you keep these stories branching, you keep them going. You don't end them. I don't know how many times we got to keep saying this. Wrestling is a never-ending story. And WWE figured it out with the bloodline. You don't end the bloodline. You just keep it going. Simple as that. It's not the forefront of the stories, but it's the reason why everything is happening. And that's why AEW is down in the mud right now. That's really the whole reason. Bad story, terrible perception, not knowing what to do with the talent you're given. Arlo said it best. The roster, ain't nothing wrong with that roster. You lined it up next to WWE. Hey, they got a roster.
It's not a bad roster. It's not a bad roster.
They got a roster. But yeah, that's really it, bro. That's AEW has fallen off for sure.
And yeah, it has. And hopefully by the year 2025, hopefully there's an upswing. Hopefully with everybody becoming healthy, like Kenny Omega just made his return.
He back?
Yes. So hopefully things will be better by next year because this year was awful. But great discussion, fellas. All right, so let's get into some awards for the year. Now for awards, again, I'm just basing this off of, for what I've seen, and for you guys based off of just from what you've seen. If it's just strictly WWE or AEW or TNA or New Japan, it's totally up to you. So here we go. So we're gonna start with Wrestler of the Year. Again, it's all personal preference. For me, my wrestler of the year of 2024, aka Crash Out Year, aka the year of hate. Gotta go with the king of hatred this year. And I gotta go with Drew McIntyre. This is probably 2024 is probably the best version of Drew McIntyre that we've ever seen. From a character, for his character work was great. He's cut some of the best promos of his career. He had a damn good match with Seth Rollins at WrestleMania. That match was kick ass. His championship match with Damian Priest at Clash of the Castle was really good, and of course he had an excellent feud with CM Punk this year. The 3 matches with Punk, of course, the Hell in a Cell match, which was just a masterpiece. And of course, this current storyline is going with now where his mission is to destroy every single member of the OG Bloodline. Which is funny because I remember a couple years ago, it got to a point where I'm pretty sure all of us was annoyed with Drew McIntyre. We was like, this dude is boring. He walks around with a sword, never uses it. But this year was Drew's year. And like MG said, MG for the longest time was the biggest Drew McIntyre hater. And he came around to Drew McIntyre this year. And the 2024 was the year of Drew McIntyre. And he was my wrestler of the year. But of course, I get some honorable mentions. Honorable mention is CM Punk. I thought he had an excellent year. Granted, he was injured most of the year. But anytime Punk shows up, he elevates the show. He had a really good year. Cody Rhodes, obviously, finished the story, ended Roman Reigns' 4-year run. And granted, I don't like the guy as a wrestler, but got to give it to Will Ospreay. He's had the match he had with Bryan was absolutely fantastic. Of course, I give it to Bryan Danielson. He had a great year. The match with Swerve, the match with Ospreay. There was another great match that he had. He was fantastic this year. Jey Uso, he gets an honorable mention. But to me, the rest of the year was Drew McIntyre. Go ahead, Mark. Who was your favorite wrestler or performer of the year 2024?
Okay, well, before I give that, I want to ask you, are we doing this by so after we do our wrestler of the year, are we doing tag teams and women and stuff like that, or is this this is the okay, cool. I gotta agree with you, Drew McIntyre. That's my wrestler of the year. He had the most interesting storyline, story beats, story arcs, character progression, promos, just all around. I think he just his stocks went all the way up, right? So yeah, Drew McIntyre is mine. Dude had a great year. Obviously, the feud with CM Punk was something special. That was kind of the feud that really put, I think, Drew McIntyre back on the map for sure. So yeah, Drew is my wrestler of the year.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna get into Cody Rhodes. I mean, we just talked about how the Bloodline was the most important. The Roman Reigns title reign was the most important, and this is the man that actually, over everybody that challenged for the belt, actually did it and vanquished Roman Reigns. I think that's pretty simple how it is. 2-time WrestleMania back-to-back main eventer, 2-time Royal Rumble winner. It's got to be Cody Rhodes.
Yeah, that's a good pick, though.
That's a very solid pick. MG, who was your wrestler of the year? Okay. Oh, there he is. Okay. Break it up. break it up. I heard Drew. I heard Drew McIntyre though. I heard Drew. That'll give you a chance to fix that. But I heard Drew. I heard Drew.
I mean,
Okay.
clearly though, you can see that everyone's picking people that was involved with the bloodline stuff, right? Like Cody, you can't go wrong with Cody. Like Arlo said, Cody had a year, right? Like he was all over the place. Everything that was WWE. Okay, yeah. So yeah, he did say Drew though. So
Okay.
3
Gotcha.
Drews, 1 Cody. But even with just 1 Cody, Cody still had he was still the guy, right? Like that, you know what I mean? Like
absolutely was. Like I said, like it takes a pretty special individual if you have The Rock and people turned on The Rock for the guy. Like that tells you something. Okay. All right. Cool. All right. So then let's get to a female wrestler of the year. And for me, I had to think about this one. But for me, I gotta go with Timeless Toni Storm as my female wrestler of the year. I thought that she's had the best character. I thought, and she's been always consistent in the ring. Her dedication to kayfabe is astonishing, and I love how she takes pride in kayfabe, something that you never really see anymore in modern day wrestling. I think her and MJF are like the two that actually stays true to their character no matter what, which is I always appreciate. I think just Toni Storm is just the overall package. Like I said, character, promos. I thought she really shined on the promos. Like people never really knew how charismatic Toni Storm was until she became Timeless. In-ring work, looks, just the overall package. And I just think that Toni Storm was the best female in wrestling. So for me, my female woman of the year, the time was Toni Storm. I will give an honorable mention to Liv Morgan. I thought this was a big year for Liv Morgan. Definitely, this is her at her peak. She really grew into her own this year. Because we always said this about Liv Morgan is that kind of like the Damian Priest thing, like there's something was missing with Liv Morgan. Yeah, she's not going to wow you in the ring, and from a character standpoint, she finally found her groove, and she pretty much became the. Well, I mean, I'm sorry to say, but there's no better way to say this, but the psycho slutty chick. That's pretty much what she fell back into, and it worked. It absolutely worked, and it got to a point where her program with Rhea and Dom, at one point was the best thing in wrestling. It was overshadowing the Bloodline. I thought her promo has been really good. Her character work has been really good. The stuff she did, the SummerSlam when Dom turned on Rhea for Liv. It was funny because it was by accident because she threw the chair at Rhea and it injured Rhea, and her biggest wrestler by accident. So gotta give Liv Morgan for honorable mention. Io Sky, another honorable mention. I like Io. Pound for pound is the best female woman on the roster. Ever since WrestleMania on down, she's been having killer matches on a consistent basis. The match she had with Bayley was really good at WrestleMania. And Triple H has pretty much made Io his new Asuka, pretty much. But yeah, female wrestler of the year for me, time was Toni Storm. Go ahead, Mark.
I can't disagree with you on that, but I am going to disagree with you on that. Like Toni Storm had an amazing year. We talked about this before. If you kept up with anything with AEW, she was She was that girl, right?
She was.
But I'm
Mark, we just talked about AEW. She was like one. She was arguably the only good thing on the show.
Oh yeah, 100%. Like Tony had that character down packed, bro. But I'm gonna go into the former black and yellow brand for my pick. I'm gonna go with Roxanne Perez. Now, this may shock you. This may shock you. But the reason I'm going with Roxanne Perez is simple, bro. Toni Storm stood out, obviously has like the woman, or pretty much like the face of AEW, right? Like, cause she was that good. But to me, that women's division in AEW is clearly like lacking talent, right? Like Jamie Hayter ain't what she used to be. Britt Baker has regressed a lot. They don't showcase Hikaru Shida. Where is Athena? Like, bro, I got so many questions about that women's division, bro. I'm gonna just leave it over there. The reason I went with Roxanne, bro, is for the simple fact that you have all that talent down there. And I'm not even just talking about the three new signings that came in from Julia and Stephanie and Zaria. We talking about everybody else down there. Lola Vice, the Cora Jades, right? The Jada Parkers of the world. Like all these different talents down there, bro, that are ready to go. Lash Legend, who I'm pretty sure reminds a lot of people of a Bianca Belair, right? So you got all that different talent down there. And Roxanne Perez was able to not just carry her own, but pretty much put that entire division on her back and kill it. She didn't have one bad match this entire year. I know promo-wise she's lacking a lot, but just from being able to carry a division that's already so stacked on her back and become the forefront of that women's division, I got to give it to Roxanne Perez. That's my pick for female wrestler of the year.
I cannot disagree with that. Roxanne has carried that division on her back. Yeah, I can argue with that. Arla?
It's not gonna be a surprise to anybody, but it's Rhea Ripley to me. She headlined a stadium show in her home country as a woman. That's never happened before. So, and I don't know when it's gonna happen again, but she can do it again. And she just became. She went from like, I mean, she was already a big star last year, but like now, like people that don't know wrestling know her. And with that, she went from like being the Judgment Day to probably the biggest moment in WWE, maybe the second biggest moment with the SummerSlam and Liv and Dom. So she just she just like this is a top woman. She like, I know you guys are talking about like her character and this and that, but like for other people, and she might not have that, but she has a presence that not many women, but not even that many men have. So what she's been able to do from going from like a heel to like probably one of the most beloved baby faces on the entire roster, man, yeah. Well, I don't know. There's not really much else I can say about her because like she is like, I don't think anybody expected her to be like the one or like she's like number 2 in the whole company in terms of like star power, which a couple of years ago, like any woman doing that is, especially coming from like what Becky had to do and what the level she got to, I think she's the closest since like 2019 Becky that we've seen since.
Facts, bro. That's huge, bro. Like you're right.
True.
Yeah, I'm not gonna disagree with that. I'm not gonna disagree with that at all. MG?
It's a toss up for two people with me, but I'm gonna go with Jordan Grace. She has been carrying TNA on her back, literally. On top of that, you had the Rumble entrance. You had the big NXT matches that she showed up for. Looks like more than likely she'll probably be headed to WWE at some point next year. Well, in 2025, should I say? I don't know if there's been many people who have walked in without being known by many and impressed so many people like right off the jump. So her, uh, I got to give the nod to her because especially that laid the foundation for what she's about to do when she does get to the E, which I think we all can kind of think big things. My honorable mention would have been Jada Parker though.
Oh yeah, dude.
And it's not for anything other than I don't think people understand like for her to kind of start to transcend wrestling from NXT is crazy. For whatever reason it may be, obviously some people, we just watch for the looks, but and she's still getting better as a worker, but to have that type of star power and potential jump off the screen that where you kind of start to transcend wrestling a little bit to where people who don't even watch wrestling are following her or looking for like that's crazy to do from there. So that would be my honorable mention. But I got to give it to Jordan Grace.
Dude, that's sick, bro. Wait, before you continue, I want to make the point that I don't know if it's obvious, but I think that should speak volumes of how good women's wrestling was this year, for the simple fact that each of us picked someone from a different company or brand. James went Toni Storm from AEW. I went Roxanne from NXT. Arlo went Rhea Ripley from the main roster. MG went Jordan Grace from TNA. If that don't tell you that 2024 has been like the year of women, I don't know what else we could really say to make you realize that. Not to forget the fact that James mentioned Io Sky. MG mentioned Jada Parker, has like honorable mentions. Like women's wrestling is on fire right now, y'all. And outside of the looks and everything else, because every single one of these women are, pretty good looking. Leave your comments to yourself. But like they are all really good in the ring, bro. They are able to go out there and put on banger matches and kill it and hang with those top level guys. So I just had to go out and say that like women's wrestling is up right now, y'all.
And I will say this too, and I will say this too. I still want an actual match between Rhea and Becky because Becky was horribly sick that night, and we didn't get the match I believe that we truly deserved. And when Becky comes back, hopefully they run that back because they deserve that. That's what I'm just saying.
Dude, we deserve Rhea and Bianca for crying out loud. And you know what?
Don't get me started on that.
Dude, that's crazy. I hate that so much, bro. I want y'all to think about this too. Jordan Grace, Roxanne, Rhea Ripley, and Toni Storm, right? I want y'all to think about this. For the past 3-4 years, maybe even longer than that, the names that we would have mentioned would have been Charlotte. It would have been Becky Lynch. It would have been Sasha Banks. It would have been a combination of those three, right? Look at how far we've came to where there's different names and these people are all legitimate cases. I don't think you could say one of us had a bad pick. Like, I know I'm glazing the women right now, but it's true. Like, maybe that's a poor choice of words. But the point is,
I want to go say that.
Yeah. But no. I quit. I give up.
Okay. All right. So, okay. All right, Mark McMahon. All right. So,
bro, what?
What? I'm fucking with you. But real quickly. Motionless Zombie says, what's y'all's current thoughts on Jade Cargill so far? Well, when it comes to Beyond, I've said that it's clear as day to what Triple H was trying to do. Pretty much trying to take Bianca Belair and show Jade Cargill the Rose. By the way, that kind of shows you how good Bianca is. She hasn't been on the roster that long, and she's already kind of, putting somebody under her wing, which shows how good she is. But I just think right now Jade's development has been very slow. It's clear as day Triple H wants to replace Bianca with Jade, but it's just very, very slow right now. So I don't know what's going to go on with that. How do you feel about the Jade Cargill situation this year?
Well, you know what, bro? To be honest, maybe it's time to replace the Jade. Okay, maybe it's time to replace that DE at the end and just keep the JA and then put an IDA at the end for Jada Parker. That's the one who's going to be replacing Bianca Belair. Because Jade Cargill ain't it. No, bro, she's not it. And I don't. Here's the thing: if anyone from WWE is listening to this, I don't mean that from a perspective like, oh, she's terrible at what she does. It's not what I mean. What I mean is she in a land where the company is constantly like searching for new talent, young talent, fresh talent. Then you got talent that's already there that is young, right? That is progressing at a way faster rate than what Jade Cargill is. She's just not the one. Now, can she prove us wrong? She could, like I'm not saying that one day she won't be, God's gift to wrestling. But if we're looking at it from just right now of December 31st, 2024, I just don't think she's the one. I've talked about this before where I feel like she was better in AEW. I don't know why. She wasn't even like a great wrestler, but for some reason she just something was different with her in that company. And I just can't really pinpoint what it was. Maybe just her looks compared to everyone else, it was just different. But yeah, in WWE, nah, I think her progression is just it's regressed, if anything. And that's just how I feel about it. I don't know if y'all feel any different, but I just feel like she's regressed a lot.
RLOMG, want to expound on that?
They agree.
Yeah, I get it. I mean,
yeah, Jade wasn't ready. She wasn't ready. She's got the look and the aura, but from a performance standpoint, whether that be in the ring or just kind of some of the little small nuances, she's not ready. And a lot of people are starting to pass her up in NXT. She probably should have went to NXT first.
Yo,
I 100% agree with on that.
Yeah. What they got down in NXT, I think they could make anybody a good wrestler in NXT. There's so many women down there, like holy shit, they could be on the main roster tomorrow, and they're just sitting in NXT.
That's what I'm saying. I would have sent her down there to wrestle with Roxanne, because it's like if you can't have a good match with Roxanne, then maybe you ain't the one, right? Like she can bring a good match out of anybody. Like so, it's one of those things where like MG said, like she should have been in NXT to kind of learn the ropes, which is so funny. I remember back in the day there was a rumor they wanted to send AJ Styles down to NXT, and it's like for what?
Bro, AJ has said himself he wished they sent him down there.
For real?
Yep.
I guess
because he said there was a lot of. Yeah, he said there was a lot of differences. Even though he had been on TV and TNA, he wished he had that small NXT stint so he could kind of learn some of the ins and outs. So even AJ himself has said he wished they would have sent him down there first for a little bit.
That's a testament to kind of talent AJ is, that even though he didn't get that experience, he was able to adapt to that super quick. Like, and Jade just ain't got that, for crying out loud, bro. She was getting trained by Brian in AEW, and it didn't help her like at all. Like I don't know. I know what they see in her, but I think they're hurting Bianca a lot by just having her be with Jade, because Bianca went from being like probably a main eventer next year, like her and Rhea. Like I'm just saying, her and Rhea, we need that match. tomorrow. Okay, we need that. I'm tired of waiting. That is the biggest women's match you could have had.
God damn it.
Last year. God damn, I'm tired of waiting. Stone Cold. I'm
Damn you, Triple H.
Damn you. Do you have a heart? Like, bro, I can't do this no more, bro. Like,
Give it to me.
don't sell it. God damn it. Like, dude, we're sitting here, and once again, that just goes to show you how far Jade is pulling down Bianca, because Bianca would have definitely been in someone's like wrestler of the year on the women's side, maybe even wrestler of the year in general. Like, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I think this is like the big fish, small pond thing. She stood out there because you don't have anything like her in AEW, but you got Bianca right next to her, and she's way better than Jade. So
yeah, there's just a natural like fluidity to somebody moving in the ring, and Jade doesn't have it. It's something that you notice right away. Like, not saying that Jade isn't a great athlete, because she is, but not all athleticism translates to different sports. It's almost like watching a football player play basketball.
Yeah.
If that makes sense to people.
He's not wrong though. That makes a lot of sense.
When you watch her wrestler, she is just trying to like remember her spots. You can just see it in her face. It's like, okay, do this and then this next and then this, and it's like, oh wow,
dude, that's my issue with Kalani Jordan. Like that's why I like she's I think she'll be better off than Jade Cargill eventually. She's young. She's got plenty of time. But Jade is like 30 something trying to go out there and remember spots. And it's like maybe it's nerves. Maybe she feels like Arlo said, big fish, small pond, to where she didn't have to try as hard because just her aura alone made her bigger than what she is. But now when you on this big stage with big time talent who were very popular, not saying the AEW women at the time weren't good, because they were definitely really good, but it's a different level. You're on a whole different ball game when we're talking WWE. So the fact that she is trying to go out there and remember spots, I've seen her in the ring with Io, and it's like, bro, the same thing like I said about Roxanne. If you can't have a good match with Io Scott, bro, I don't know. Just give it up. Just give it up. It's time to retire. Hang your hat up. You're done. You're cooked.
Agreed. Because EO can go out there and make a fucking vacuum cleaner and have a great match out of it. She's just been phenomenal this year, and hopefully we should begin Bianca, and the fact that we have yet to have Bianca and Rhea have a match together at this point is kind of sad, if you ask me. They should be the number 1 and 2 women on the card right now. All right, so next award, match of the year, which should, I mean, to me it's a no-brainer, but a lot of good matches this year. But not only this match is match of the year, but I'm just going to go ahead and say it. This was the feud, the rivalry of the year. And for me, the 2024 match of the year for me, Drew McIntyre, CM Punk, Hell in a Cell, Bad Blood 2024. It literally brought back the feeling of the old school Hell in a Cell matches where they felt like actual blow-off matches. The story that was told in the match was phenomenal. The psychology of the match was phenomenal. The storytelling, it literally felt like an old school Hell in a Cell match. And I thought this was the perfect combination of the trilogy that they've had. Like, keep in mind, I thought all 3 matches were really good. The SummerSlam match with Seth Rollins. I forgot to say this. I don't mention the Seth Rollins this year. Granted, he was injured most of the year. No, I'm not just saying. Oh, of course, he'll say that, but no, I thought Seth, especially considering the role he's in WWE right now, the role that he had at WrestleMania. And keep in mind, guys, the man wrestled multiple matches at WrestleMania with blown out knees. Like he had a match
Damn,
like he
his
had
knees was blown out, bro.
Yes.
Damn.
So you gotta give credit due when it comes to Seth Rollins. And plus his role in helping Cody beat Roman. He pretty much in movie terms, he pretty much sacrificed himself, to save WWE and have Cody beat the big bad villain in Roman Reigns. And of course, he has an entertaining feud with Bronson Reed. And then he's already an early contender for feud of the year for 2025 with CM Punk. He ended the year very strong. So I got to get an honorable mention to Seth Rollins. But yeah, my match of the year is Drew McIntyre, CM Punk, Hell in a Cell, Bad Blood. Fantastic match. I at least watched that match at least 4 times since it's happened. And also it also goes to show that, it's CM Punk. We've had, I know, shout out to Hardy. This man Hardy has pretty much been placing bets that Punk was going to get hurt. He didn't. He went like 40 minutes in there with Drew McIntyre in a Hell in a Cell match, and he killed it. Drew killed it, and I thought the perfect way to end what's been a great feud. So Punk, Drew, Hell in a Cell, Bad Blood, match of the year.
Oh, that match kicked ass, bro. I'm not gonna lie to you. My match of the year, I think it's simple. I've been glazing this match all year long. We going to the AEW side with it, bro. Bryan Danielson, Will Ospreay from AEW Dynasty. Y'all know how I feel about this match, bro. I don't really have words for this. Y'all gonna hate me for saying this. I know y'all is. But when I watched this match, I literally got Undertaker, Shawn Michaels, WrestleMania vibes from this, bro. Like, bro, I'm trying to tell y'all this match kicked ass, bro. Like, I know we've been down on AEW all day, but this is what they do best.
That's a very bold statement.
I mean, I know it is, bro. But like the last like 10 to 5 minutes of that match, bro, was absolutely insane. And then everything before that, it was just like a 30-minute just classic. This is what I wish AEW did more of and just told stories with it, because I don't know. I don't know what else you want me to say about this match. I done said it all year long. I know we ain't been making videos and stuff, but this match was like worth every penny, bro. Every single penny. Like you said earlier, he went out on a high note for like his last time being a full-time performer. Y'all know how Will Ospreay get down. If you ain't seen this match, this is a match I definitely recommend from AEW. 5 out of 5, just 10 out of 10. Actually, do it again. Highly recommend. That's my match of the year.
I think I gotta agree with James. It's CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre for me. Like he said, I mean, it's brought back everything old school from the match, the Hell in the Cell matches from the past, and it's so violent, so brutal. I mean, just the Claymore Drew landed on the steel steps for no reason, but that shit was awesome. That shit,
Dude,
I know
thought
he took some
injured
time
himself.
off. Yeah, for real. I'm like, I do not know how he landed on that without like breaking this like vertebrae or something, but that's exactly what pro wrestling should be. And the fact that we got a little taste of it with, those two, I fucking love that. I do have to give an honorable mention to Will Ospreay versus Pac, because
Ooh,
at All Out, because I know the Will Ospreay always has great matches. Obviously, he probably has half of the great matches on like a top 10 list or something. Like he had a great year, but that match, it just two super athletic guys who just didn't miss a step the whole time. And I just was watching that, and I was just like, we just need like 30 more minutes of this. I could have watched that for an hour, and I would not have gotten bored of it. They were just doing stuff that only them two can do together. Even Ricochet, I don't even think that Ricochet could do what Pac and him could do at this point. So I'm saying like that is like my top match, but that's like a very high honorable mention for me. I love that match.
Bro, that match kicked ass, bro.
Sorry, MG, but if we're gonna do honorable mentions, of course, gotta include Roman and Cody, WrestleMania Night 2. It was more about the moment, of course, but if you actually go back and watch that match, they actually had a really good match. Like, people kind of really underrate, the chemistry Roman and Cody have together. Of course, you got to give honorable mention to, of course, Bryan and Ospreay. I thought Swerve. I thought Swerve and Samoa Joe actually had a really good match together. Swerve and Bryan at all in was really great. People don't talk about that match that much.
Dude, that just made me realize my honorable mention is Will Ospreay all over the place, bro. Will Ospreay and MJF from Dynamite, bro. They went an hour. Bro, that match was insane. That match kicked ass, bro. I would even put like Swerve and Bryan in there too, but yeah, just for my two, it's definitely just Ospreay all over the place. Just the Billy Goat.
Go ahead, MG.
Was Ospreay and Takeshita this year?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so Ospreay, Takeshita, and Ospreay Bryan are my two honorable mentions, but Ospreay Takeshita match is insane. And I don't even like AEW like that. But my number one, I'm a surprise y'all with this, but I'm going back to WrestleMania. I'm going with the main event of night one.
Ooh.
Roman and Rock.
Ooh.
Wait, you giving Rock match of the year?
Just think about everything that went into that match specifically. Because a lot of the WrestleMania build really wasn't even geared at Roman versus Cody. It was geared at that tag team match.
Yeah.
And then the match itself was really fucking good.
Bro, it was like 50 minutes too, bro. It was insane.
Rock probably took the best Cody cutter out of everybody we've seen. Roman was great. Seth and Cody were great in the match. Like, I don't know if you can recreate that moment. Like James mentioned, a moment. I don't know if you can recreate that. That night one was special. And so that's gonna be my match of the year.
I ain't mad at it though. I'm not mad at that at all.
I'm honestly surprised. I did not expect him to say that. Wow.
Bro, I think because that match flew over everyone's head because we all just remember that one moment with Cody, right? But it's like looking back at it, yeah, that match had no like down spots in it. It was all just one cohesive story.
And literally, that was the WrestleMania build. WrestleMania build ain't had nothing to do with Roman versus Cody, really.
dude, all the marketing material was literally just that tag team match. The commercials, the graphic designs, everything. Like, that was the match.
Mm-hmm.
Damn. I didn't think about that. That's a good pick, though. I didn't think about that.
Yeah, I did enjoy the fuck out of that match.
That match was sick, dude.
Okay. All right. So next we got
Hey, hold on, real quick. I'm sorry to cut you. I'm so sorry. But I gotta do it again. Will Ospreay is him. Because why is he on everybody's list? Honorable mention top. Listen, he's him. He's him. Takeshita him too, but yeah, he's him. Okay, you can go. Sorry.
Okay. All right. I'm just gonna be nice. Will Ospreay has he's pretty good. All right, so
And we doing tag teams too?
yes, we are.
Okay.
But breakout star of the year. This one was tough. This one was actually really tough. There was a lot of breakout stars this year. I was really going back and forth with this one. This was probably the hardest award for me, and I gotta go with. I ultimately ended up with Jacob Fatu. I thought Jacob Fatu in his rookie year had an excellent year. Literally from the moment he came in, he's pushed as a main eventer. They're already setting up for him to be a major player in the WWE in the near future. And the guy has came in, has overwhelmed everybody. He quickly made a huge impact in the WWE to where it's getting to a point where people are saying, why isn't Jacob Fatu? Why isn't he the tribal chief? Why isn't he the leader of this new bloodline? But I thought Jacob Fatu had a great breakout year, and in the next 2-3 years, expected to be a WrestleMania main eventer. Honorable mention goes to Braun Breaker. Braun Breaker had a really great year. Two-time Intercontinental Champion. The biggest thing, Sami Zayn beating him clean was a big mark on him for me. I was not a big fan of that. He should not have lost clean to Sami. But he had a great triple threat match with Sheamus and Ludwig Kaiser, which, by the way, he's in my honorable mention, Ludwig Kaiser. Braun Breaker, and I gotta go with Mariah May for me for honorable mention. I thought her feud with Toni Storm was really good. Probably at one point the only good thing in Dynamite. I thought the match she had with Toni Storm All Out was really good. Outside of one particular spot, I thought it was just goofy as fuck. She really stepped up in her feud with Toni Storm. Unfortunately, her title run, kind of like what MG says, as soon as they get the title, Toni doesn't know what to do. But I thought Mariah May had a really good breakout year. And it's weird to say this. Chad Gable. At one point, Chad Gable was one of, if not the biggest heel in the company, with his feud with Sami Zayn and the build-up with Otis. I thought was really good. I just think Triple H just completely dropped the ball on him. But breakout star of 224 is Jacob Fatu. I love you, Solo.
I love you, Solo. Great guy. A great guy. I ain't gonna lie. Mine is just like, I already know it's Swerve Strickland. That's my breakout star. Swerve Strickland. 2024 was the year of Swerve. He was able to go out there and become a real main eventer for real. After getting the fans behind him, Who's House, Swerve's House, that whole thing got just like massive in the wrestling world. He was able to go in there and hang with the best of them. Swerve to me was the breakout star of the year. But my honorable mention, I ain't gonna lie, this was difficult because I was going back and forth between these two guys after I found out we were gonna do like multiple of the year awards. I gotta go Obafemi as my honorable mention. Obafemi had a year this year, y'all. He was going crazy to the point where I'm ready to see him on the main roster, like at the Rumble and go crazy this year. Like Oba Femi's that guy. So Swerve has my breakout star, and Oba is my honorable mention.
I think damn, Mark, you stole mine. God damn. But I'm not gonna go with him since Mark already glazed him.
Who?
You're
Oba?
Femi.
Oh,
Yeah.
you could have picked him, dude. Bro, James had like 50 people, bro. Come on, you can pick Oba.
Nah, I think it has to be Jacob Fatu. We're talking about he's gonna main event at WrestleMania. It's gonna happen. He's way too good. I didn't know who the fuck he was. I'm like, who the fuck is Jacob Fatu? Like all these people saying, I'm like, yeah, now I know who Jacob Fatu is. Yeah, he really shut my mouth up with that. Honorable mention, Jada Parker. Like I didn't even know who she was last year, and now she is one of the best like mic workers in all of in terms of women, like already top 5, probably the best in NXT. And she already has a characters and presence. And for somebody like I didn't know last year, and just getting started in wrestling, not even maybe like a year ago, like what she's been able to do is crazy.
No, some good ass picks though. I'm not gonna hold you.
A lot of good talent this year.
Facts.
Yeah.
That's all you gotta say?
No.
His wrestler of the year breakout star. Yeah.
LA Knight.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I can't go with Jacob Fatu just for the fact of his time hasn't come yet. Like they haven't really done much with him, like in terms of performance wise. Right now it's just aura, which is crazy. That man right now at this point, he has had as big a year as he's had just off of aura. Like you just don't see that, right? Like it's insane. For me, it's a toss up between Braun Breaker and Oba Femi. Y'all know where I stand on Braun Breaker. He's kind of like my new Brock Lesnar, where he show up on the screen, I'm watching more than likely. But Oba Femi is that dude.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna go with Braun Breaker though, because he's actually gotten his chance to kind of do what Jacob hasn't done yet, or what Oba hasn't been able to do yet, and that's go out there and actually show what he can do as a character and as a promo and as a worker. So I'm with James. Didn't like him losing the IC title to Sammy, but he has been fairly protected, and he has been on an upper trajectory. And Jacob Fatu ain't the only one who's gonna be in the WrestleMania main event within the next few years. I think we're looking at both of those two guys, and I still remember that stare down they had in that the match where Jay lost the IC title back to Braun Breaker, and you had the Braun and Jacob Fatu stare down, and that was like one of the holy shit moments of the year for me, because it was just all aura. It was just all like just machismo and aura.
Yeah.
Biggie Langston was going crazy.
Oh, that was, bro. That spot, bro. The crowd got on their feet for that, bro. Like
they did it again the other night with Jacob and Braun Strowman.
Dude, I bet Triple H heard that reaction, was like, wait a minute, what the hell? Like, we got to get these guys in the main event right now.
Yeah.
Like, what are we doing?
And how could we forget? We're talking about honorable mention. How could we forget Bronson Reed?
I wanted to bring this up. Yeah, I was going to say, like, that's the reason I went with Swerve, right? Like,
no, he did, but
he broke out, but like, that's the reason why I didn't go Jacob Fatu. I didn't go Braun Breaker, and I didn't go who was the other guy? Oba Femi is like my breakout star. I went with Swerve only for the simple reason that a lot of those guys, like MG said, they haven't had that moment, right? Like I think even Oba hasn't had like that real moment yet. Like a lot of these guys ain't. And they just started getting there. Like Jacob Fatu ain't been on the roster for. Has he been there for a year? No.
He came after Mania. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like months. I'm like, that's why I went with Swerve. It's like, given if it was a full calendar year, I don't think Swerve would have been in my list, but just from the simple fact that he's done it all in that company, from the big breakout moment, the big feud of the year in that company, matches of the year in that company. Like that's why I picked him over a guy like Bronson Reed or Jacob Fatu or Obafemi, right? Like that's why.
I think another honorable mention has to go out to Joe Hendry.
Dude, I forgot. Yeah, Joe Hendry was going crazy this year.
One of the most viewed videos on WWE's YouTube channel all year.
Yep.
At one point, it was number one. I think until the Punk and Roman thing confrontation happened. But yeah, I mean, that's a breakout year for you.
TNA, y'all got to put the belt on that man, bro. Real talk.
Hope too late. Damn.
Because he WWE bound real soon.
Oh, real soon. Real soon. All right, for our final award of 2020, tag team of the year.
Oh, yeah, bad.
I hold you up. Terrible year for every company combined. And I gotta say, so I went with consistency, and I gotta say, tag team year was Proxium. My boy Nathan Frazier. Shout out to him for tag team of the year. They were the most consistent tag team of the year. But yeah, hopefully 2025 they improve on tag division, because this was a terrible year. Honorable mention, I guess the Young Bucks, and the only reason why I say the Young Bucks is because they were part of Sting's last match.
I can hear the disdain in your voice when you saying that. I can hear it.
I'm trying to be professional now. Like I'm trying to what's your advice, Mark? I'm trying to but the only reason why I will put them in, because they were parts, because they didn't do anything this year. But really, there's really the only tag. Yeah, okay, I guess Motor City Machine Guns. They came in at the rocket ship the second they walked in. But yeah, gotta go Fraxium. They're the most consistent team all year.
Yeah, Fraxium. I don't think there's a debate here. I've been screaming the praise of Fraxium all year as my favorite tag team. I don't know. I've been saying this too. I think Nathan Frazier is main roster ready. I know he ain't gonna be a main eventer. He don't need to be, but the guy can go. He's clearly ready for that spotlight to be there. So that is definitely my tag team of the year. Axiom's pretty good too. In terms of honorable mention, bro, like it's kind of like what James said. Like, who tag team wrestling has been down all year, and that was the thing that used to make AEW special too, was their tag team division, and it ain't there no more. So I really don't know who would be my honorable mention. I'm trying to think, but I genuinely do not know. You know what? My honorable mention, I gotta give it to Tonga Loa and Tama Tonga. That's my honorable mention. That's how down we are this year.
God damn it, motherfucker! That's my tag team of the year.
Damn it, my fault,
bro. The tag team division sucked, but come on, man. Tangaloa, bro. That ladder match is the only tag team match I even remember this year.
Bro, it was so bad.
That shit was great. So, man, they were dripping in gold. They were in the main event. Tag teams don't mean shit in wrestling. I don't know when people are gonna realize that. It's literally just a prop and the only time they really matter is when they're in the main event faction, whether it's the Usos or the Tongans, or oh yeah, there's a huge faction now. They got to have the tag teams. That's the only time they really matter. I don't give a fuck about the Motor Machine Guns.
But they've been there for like 2 weeks, and I don't care. Like
I stopped watching SmackDown when they won the belts from them. Like, fuck this.
Oh, dude, yeah, I know for a fact they've been doing that. Like, bro, do you know how many times that tag team belt has changed hands and no one cares? Like, it's oh god, bro, tag team, just kill it. Can we go back to just having like main event guys being tag teams? Can we go back to that? Like, the fact that we ain't talking about the Street Profits, we ain't talking about the New Day. There's a couple of other teams I think out there, but
the New Day might win it next year. They didn't really get going until recently.
Yeah, they going crazy.
They are. Yeah, that might be the tag team.
Yeah,
I think Owens and Orton have potential. RKO. I think they have potential, but their run was so short, and they weren't on TV together a bunch because they were doing the whole injury angles and shit. And then they had the overseas travel, all of that, like with the Saudi show. Like that one had a lot more potential.
You know who else I think I would mention too? I don't know much about the team. I just remember hearing about them a lot, so I'm just gonna throw them on there. The Outrunners, I think is their name, from AEW. I know a lot of people love them, like they were super over or whatever, but yeah, like I don't know, bro. Tag team wrestling just kind of dead right now. Like Arlo said, it don't really matter. And I think that sucks because tag team wrestling can be super fun when it's done correctly. Oh, Arlo, you still got to give your pick, bro.
I thought I already made the case. So yes, Tangaloa and Tama Tonga, obviously. I told you it's the only tag team match I remember from this year besides the WrestleMania 9-1 main event. So it's just by default. And it's Tangaloa. Come on, man. He was on his tippy toes the whole time, trying to get the belt. That was awesome.
The GOAT.
Holding the belt upside down.
Dude, he's awesome.
Honestly, I was thinking about giving it to the New Day for like the last 2 weeks. I went, they're the only things that have done anything the whole time this whole year. That's how much the WWE AEW tag team championships need. But yeah, I haven't seen enough of Fraxium, honestly, but it would probably be them. But
only thing you need to know about Fraxium, they don't have bad matches.
Facts.
I'm sure. Yeah, I saw him for sure, bro.
Yeah, they just don't have bad matches. I still remember the match they had against Corbin and Braun Breaker.
Oh,
they won the belt. Those matches were nuts.
The Wolf Dogs was actually a really good tag team too.
It was a really good one.
MD.
But yeah, I'm gonna go with Fraxium. I don't think there's been a more consistent tag team this year than them. I don't even think it's close.
Yeah, it's not close. Yeah, let's hope tag team division gets better. And really quickly, just looked at my notes here and really quickly, best wrestling show of the year. For me, best wrestling show of the year, WrestleMania Night 2. Like the anticipation, the intrigue that everybody had heading into that match with Cody and Roman. Even when everybody knew Cody was going to win, we still wanted to see what was going to happen. It was overbooked to hell. You would think Vince Russo was a part of that shit. You had Cena, you had The Undertaker, you had The Rock. Like imagine if Stone Cold came out what everybody thought was going to happen, but it didn't. And I got to Cody winning the belt, which was a very emotional moment. Samantha Irving cried when she saw that shit. And yeah, to me, WrestleMania Night 2 was the best show of the year. Mark, if you could go ahead real quickly.
Oh, WrestleMania 40, 100%. Drew, obviously, him and Seth put on a pretty good match. It was short, but it was pretty good. Then you have the Damian Priest cash in. Lil Knight and AJ Styles had a pretty good match for real for that. No, it wasn't even for a title. It was just a regular match. That was pretty good. Logan Paul and triple threat match was great. Io Sky and Bayley put on a good match. Cody and Roman was good. Yeah. Night 2 of WrestleMania 40, 100% was the best show of the year.
Shout out National Speed.
Oh yeah, he took that RKO pretty well. I'm not gonna lie.
That shit was so funny, bro.
That was good stuff.
Arlo. Probably step away. MG.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with WrestleMania night 2. Uh, that, there weren't a lot of like overall great wrestling shows this year. There's been a lot of just like this is solid like shows
Mhm.
this year. But there weren't many shows that were just like, oh, this is like fucking great. I mean, I think SummerSlam might have a case.
SummerSlam
When you
was
think
really
about, yeah, that SummerSlam was pretty solid. Outside of outside of the main event, Cody and Solo, um, SummerSlam was pretty solid too. So I'm not
Yeah.
gonna hate on SummerSlam. I think that probably would be my honorable mention because I haven't seen too many AEW pay-per-views, so I can't say.
I think their best for AEW probably would have either been Revolution, Sting's retirement, or that Dynasty show with Bryan and Ospreay. Those are really good.
It was Dynasty for me.
Yeah, Dynasty wasn't really good. Actually, you know what? That's probably, I don't know. All Out was really good too, though. I don't know. I'm gonna go All Out for my honorable mention because that had that Chris Statlander Willow match that was sick, and stuff like that. But yeah, still it's still WrestleMania night too, for sure.
Yeah, shows WrestleMania definitely. I think it's a clean sweep. That shit was crack. Everything like actually finished, and like we actually got a conclusion to all the main storylines. And I mean, yeah, you had The Rock, you had Undertaker come out just for one match. So just that alone, it's like holy shit. But I will give Backlash his credit though. Like that show did not need to be as good as it was. That was they really cooked for those 2 months. Just want to give it a little bit of mention. That crowd, they were on one.
Yes, that was with Solo and Tama versus Orton and AJ Cody. Yes, that was a fire show. That was a great show.
AJ was like the most over person in the company that night, bro.
Yeah.
Yes, he was. Yeah. Backlash is becoming that show now after WrestleMania. I'm looking forward to the Mexico show.
Oh hell yeah, dude.
And yeah, man, and so that professional wrestling in 2024, a lot of moments, a lot of interesting moments, a lot of dumb moments, but it was a very entertaining year for sure. Now we're off to 2025. Starting off with the Raw on Netflix and the beginning of the John Cena retirement tour, because Cena will be there next year. I'm pretty sure we're gonna have a lot to talk about with that. And yeah, man, this has been fun, man. And Mark, Arlo, MG, anything? What do you predict will how 2025 will be for professional wrestling?
You know what? I'm glad you asked that because I don't know if I have predictions on like how it's gonna play out, but I do have my wants of what I would like to see as like just a casual wrestling fan now. What I would like to see happen. Number one, I think we can all agree on this is I'm gonna need both AEW and WWE to get rid of some of these titles. It's a little ridiculous right now, bro. We got 2 sets of mid-card belts for the women and men now. We got tag team belts galore. We got world titles galore. We got a speed champion. I don't know if they selling drugs. That's an actual championship. We might be getting a Netflix championship. I don't know, bro. Like it's a lot going on, and I just kind of need these belts to get like consolidated on both ends of the companies because it's a little too much. It's getting out of hand here. I'm all for having mid-card women's belts, but maybe those tag team belts gotta go. I would like to see Ricky Starks go to NXT personally. I don't know what he's doing in AEW right now. Like I said, I haven't been keeping up with the shows, just the pay-per-views.
Absolutely nothing. Like
He doing the same thing we doing, talking about it.
Oh, all right.
No, I saw him at the gym. He's good.
Oh, he good. That's Ricky. He good.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's chilling.
Yeah, I'm gonna need that to happen, bro. Like especially if he's not doing anything. I would like to see that. Other predictions I would have, maybe I think, you know what? I'm gonna go out on a bold prediction here and say that TNA and WWE will probably have some kind of like promotional intertwined pay-per-view. Maybe NXT, you know, one of those brands. I do feel we are gonna get like a, you know, Worlds Collide kind of pay-per-view between those companies because they've been in bed with each other for a good minute now. I mean, outside of that, really, maybe Cody turning heel, but yeah, that's about it for real.
Good. I think. I mean, I say this every year, but I think Dominic Mysterio finally wins Money in the Bank.
Huge.
I think, yeah. I've been saying that for the last 2 years, and it's never happened. Either him or Logan Paul, because I think that just they really didn't do anything with the Money in the Bank this year. So I think they're going to have a long reign this year for a guy, and either of them will be perfect for it. CM Punk, no, he doesn't. No, that's wrong. John Cena wins a Royal Rumble this year. That's my prediction. I think they're setting him up for potentially being 17 this year at WrestleMania main event. And I don't know who's going to be against. But yeah. But another one is like, I really wish John Cena actually hits like and wrestles a lot of dream matches. There's been years and people and cards that were like, oh, we really want to see these matches, and they just never happen. Like Mark was talking about, like CM Punk and Daniel Bryan really never had a match like that. In like when they're both like the guy. So I just don't want to see that again. I just want to see him wrestle Randy Orton. I want to see him wrestle CM Punk, John Cena. I want to see him wrestle Cody Rhodes. I want to see him wrestle Roman Reigns. I think, and this is my hottest take, is Big E is coming back, and it will have one match this year. I don't know why. I just I feel like they're kind of building up to something, but that could just be the wrestling fan in me hoping for something. I think that's pretty much all I got though.
Okay. All right, cool. As for predictions for me, like I said, I when it comes to John Cena retirement tour, it would not surprise me if Cena does win the Rumble, and if The Rock is not available, I could see Cody and Cena at WrestleMania. I think that makes the most sense for me if The Rock is not available. Like I said, I expect a big year for CM Punk. I expect him to, have his feud with Roman this year after he gets through with Seth. And maybe we get something between him and Kevin Owens. I expect Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn to lock it up one more time this year. There's a lot of fresh things the WWE can do this year. As far as AEW is concerned, I just want them to get better. I just want them to get better. I agree, Mark. Get rid of the titles. Really, for both companies, it's not necessary. And I just want AEW to just give us some good, consistent storytelling. Like, they're capable, they can do it. They just choose not to sometimes. And hopefully Tony Storm goes back to being timeless, because I'm not fucking with this whole amnesia shit. But anyway, so I'm just not. I'm just not. But
that's fair.
But folks, we're gonna go ahead and end it there. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed this year-end recap. Hopefully, I just want to wish everybody a happy new year. Thank you all for rocking with us this whole year. And to answer your question, Carlos, are we gonna have a commentary? I will be hosting a watch along for the Monday Night Raw on Netflix. Is it okay if I say it, Mark?
Yeah, I don't know what you're finna say, but sure, yeah, go ahead.
Mark won't be here because he will be at the Monday Night Raw on Netflix.
Yes, sir.
So expect that. As far as the podcast is concerned, I'm gonna try to make this a weekly thing.
Hold on, what? We ain't discussed this.
No, you don't have. No, you don't have to. You don't have to be a part of it. But I'm going to try. I gotta see how my schedule links up. But I want to get back
we
to.
Also got to see how the paychecks link up.
We are not doing this.
Everybody getting new deals. The NBA got a new deal. WWE moving to Netflix with a new deal. I think we need a new deal.
Yeah, we got to restructure these contracts.
Okay, all right. We're not
what part of the
doing
deal is this?
But however though, like I'm gonna try to get back to consistently streaming, for the people. I'll be doing different things, doing podcasts, go back to doing watch alongs of older shows or the older pay-per-views, older Monday Night Raws, all that stuff. I'm gonna go back to doing that. Yeah,
you have fun with that, bro.
I will. I absolutely will because the watch-alongs that that I do have actually been really, really fun with the chat here. So,
I will say this though. I will say this. All jokes aside, I'm gonna tell you right now. Don't send me no invite for no commentary. It's not gonna happen. Don't work for me, brother.
I know. Yeah, you told me why. I got it. Yeah, I know. Yeah. I know exactly why.
Sure, man. But in terms of like casual like discussions or like pay-per-views, I don't know about pay-per-view watch-alongs, but like predictions and stuff, I'm there for that. But anything else, yeah, I'm good, bro.
Just let me know. And whenever I go live, if you want to be involved, just hit me up and I'll send you the link, okay? But yes. But yeah. But yeah. Hopefully everybody has themselves enjoy their New Year's Eve, whether they're at home by themselves or if they're currently with family right now. Wishing y'all a happy new year. And like I said at the beginning of the show, embrace the new year, because not many people are able to enjoy, a new year. So embrace it, enjoy this time with your loved ones, because of times like this are special. So, and we appreciate every single one of y'all that's been rocking with us. Like I said, next year will be 10 years since we've all as a collective been doing this. And you guys have been rocking with us ever since then. So everyone be safe. Have a happy holidays. And I'll see y'all Monday for the Raw on Netflix debut, which will probably be, it's going to be a banger show. I can already tell it's going to be. And yeah, we'll see y'all then. Have a great night. Hit that like and subscribe button. And also, if you want to be able to donate to the channel, you can donate to our Cash App, PrimePod313.
I'm sorry. I'm
trying to.
I'm sorry.
I was trying to, but you started laughing.
I can't help myself. I'm sorry.
And, Ben Johnson's Bears 125. Don't get me started. But yes, have a good night, y'all. Happy New Year, and we are out. Peace.
Happy New Year's, people.